for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Tuesday, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m., getting you ready for Bucks at Kings. That's right. Will the Kings be able to break that losing streak? Will they be able to avenge that heartbreaking loss in Milwaukee when Damian Lillard, was that the last time he's done the Dame time celebration? I feel like we have not seen him do that since it was in Milwaukee. And back then, the Kings couldn't shoot free throws. Now they can do nothing else besides shoot free throws. So maybe tonight is the night where everything will come together. You got Nate Littlefield behind the glass. We have Chris Watkins ready to rock and roll. How you doing?
Yo, I'm doing all right, after the NFL free agency storm that was yesterday. Obviously, for those who know where my allegiances lie, lost a quarterback, got another one. Don't know quite how I'm feeling about it. Got Chris Middleton questionable tonight, Keegan questionable tonight. Kings obviously on a 15-game losing streak to Milwaukee. So
1-5.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
1-5.
1-5. 1 and a 5.
That is incredible.
15 straight losses to one opponent. It's honestly pretty impressive. I would love to know. They have to be approaching a record here. They have not beaten the Bucks. What were you doing in February 2016? Do you remember anything? Not to put you on the spot there. But
well, summer 16 was Drizzy, so getting ready for that Drizzy
there
album.
You go.
That's what I was doing. Wow.
And the Kings were beating the Bucks for the last time in
2016.
In 8 years. It's been 8 years.
How long has Giannis been in the league?
About 10. So I mean, they've barely. I think they've probably beaten Giannis like maybe twice in his entire career.
Wow.
So and
that's before he was good.
Yeah.
Giannis he was shredded.
Giannis entered the league in 2013-14. So pretty much since Giannis has been an all-star, the Kings have not beaten the Bucks.
Well, tonight's the night.
All-star in 2016.
At first it was, we talked about not playing. This was one of those rare games that we haven't seen from the Kings really, Chris, in Milwaukee. This was when the Kings did show up. There was a little bit of a collapse at the end with the free throws, but to lose on the buzzer beater, the Kings, you felt like they still had done just enough. So this was one of those rare wins where they did show up for the most part.
143 or 142 points. It's pretty decent.
That's
going to win you more games than it's going to lose
typically. And that was when they still had Adrian Griffin, no?
Yes, it was.
That's when you thought
the Kings had JTA. That's how
the Kings had JTA. And look, where is JT? Can you bring back JTA?
He was in Sacramento the other day for Stockton Kings versus Mexico City Capitanes.
So he's back playing with the Mexico team?
Back with Mexico City, yep.
Huh. Well, it was a good run.
Yeah, it was a great run. It was a great run.
It was also a pretty good run for Derrick Henry in Tennessee. Man. He is now a Baltimore Raven. And I'm sure Chris and I weren't the only ones. And we were hearing a lot of Cowboys talk with Derrick Henry because they just don't really have a running back besides.
Pollard, I forgot.
Yeah, they lost Tony Pollard. They essentially have Deuce Vaughn.
That's right.
And that's
what a contrast that would have been.
Right.
Derrick Henry
I would have needed that.
6'2". It would have been like the Aaron Judge Altuve picture. I would have loved that.
Yeah,
that would have been great.
That's some thunder and lightning right there. But you have Derrick Henry now going to the Ravens. And honestly, I don't know how different these timelines are. Everybody says, the running back timeline isn't as long, things like that. If you look at where Lamar Jackson is and the running quarterback thing, I'm not saying that he doesn't have a lot of time left, but what I'm saying is you got to act now. I don't know that you're going to have Lamar for another 7 to 10 years.
Right. Not at this level, maybe.
Not at this level.
One lower body injury with him, and he's probably different.
So you need to take a swing. And people have already said, what's crazy is people have already said, if you fire up highlights from a couple years ago, Lamar already looks different.
Yeah.
Now, the idea was that he would improve as a passer as he ran less.
Right.
that did not happen in the playoffs, but it has happened to some degree. So that's a huge deal for Baltimore. We have all of the news to get through, a lot of movement here in the NFL. We also discuss why it's a bigger deal to hit in the NBA draft versus the NFL. And we have all of the Niners news as well. Obviously, they lose a couple guys. They sign Leonard Floyd to a 2-year deal. They sign Yetur Gross-Matos to a 2-year deal. Kind of rotational pieces to get after the quarterback. The problem is, I thought you were supposed to be protecting your quarterback. What is going on there?
Opting out of that.
They're opting out of it. So Chase Sr., we'll hear from him. He had some things to say about the Niners, and I guess, it's the same story with the Kings. The market has left the typical area, and now the Niners can't really afford some of these dudes that have already signed. So where does that land you? Back in the draft, and you best not miss.
Yeah, I mean it's part of the struggle of I don't want to say blowing the opportunity, but like this is why when you have a Super Bowl and a fantastic season line in front of you, you have to take advantage because you're going to lose some guys. You may not be able to recoup, and then of course, as we're seeing, like other teams are going to continue to get better, and it's never going to be the same year after year. We talk about it with the Kings; it applies to the Niners as well. Things can change overnight, and with the amount of movement that's happening in the NFL right now, who knows? Like I honestly don't even have a full grasp of what these teams are going to look like, but felt like the Packers got better yesterday. Felt like the Eagles getting Saquon made them better yesterday. It's really lining up for an interesting season, and we'll see if the Niners, they haven't completely missed out on everybody. There's still tons of big names out there, but yeah, when it comes to the offensive line, doesn't feel like the Niners really felt like that was their biggest priority, which is interesting to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost as if, okay, we don't have enough to afford the best guys,
right?
So we're just gonna grind film, grind tape, and hopefully not miss in the draft. And we're just going to use the money that we do have to hopefully get after the quarterback. We'll see how that works out for them. Some other QB news. We'll talk about Kirk Cousins and his finessing self.
Crazy.
All the bags in the world, Kirk Cousins.
All the Coles cash, dude.
All the Coles cash. He's the guy who needs that money the least. He's not spending any of that money. Insane. We have a tweet that kind of breaks down and puts into perspective how much money Kirk Cousins has made. Jameis Winston is off to the Browns. Marcus Mariota is off to the Commanders. And the list goes on and on and on. We will hopefully have an update for you on Keegan Murray being listed as questionable. And we'll ask the question that I think gets asked about twice a year: is Dylan Brooks dirty? Because it wasn't the best looking thing. So we will discuss that as well. And also, you have another chance to win tickets to see Hassan Minhaj. Live Nation has teamed up with Sactown Sports for your chance to see local legend Hassan Minhaj at the Safe Credit Union Performing Arts Center from beautiful downtown Sacramento, March 29th. That will be at 1 p.m. We will let Nate pick the number. Nate's going to pick the number. Man. And of course we have,
don't think it.
Now I feel like ever since that person hopped on Sack Chat and said, "Hey, you guys have been doing it for me on Prop Talk," I feel like we have been ice cold.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been ice cold. So 1:30,
we got to reset.
We will try to get you right and get you back for Prop Talk.
No Kevin Herter.
Yes,
okay.
That's right.
Okay, so let's just get this out the way now.
We're going to do this now.
No.
We're going to bookend with
exactly.
Okay.
No. Right. We're not doing it now. I'm saying to the people that we have our dog segment. We have Prop Talk. I picked Kevin Herter because Kevin Herter dropped out of double digits down to 9.5.
Which didn't matter. You weren't supposed to pick him anyways.
I picked Kevin Herter 9.5. I'm trying to motivate this guy.
You're not.
I picked Kevin Herter 9.5, and he literally put up a donut.
Yeah.
No points.
In a dominant win.
In a dominant win.
Which was insane. A game he started in, put up a 0. I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't either.
And it's literally your fault, which is crazy.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, I mean
we had very clear rules. It was very simple. It was you're not allowed to bet. You specifically, Alan Stiles, were not allowed to bet on Kevin Herter.
Well,
and you breached that contract.
I picked him. I didn't BET on him. I just picked him. I just picked him.
Well, I'm glad you didn't BET on him.
I did not. Going back to who else may or may not play tonight, Middleton has been moved to questionable. Surprise, surprise. And we discussed this as well. OG Anunoby, I believe he might be back tonight. I'm seeing reports that he is back tonight just in time for their showdown.
That's right.
On Saturday. That's just how it happens with the Kings. And 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. We also are going to peel back some of these layers as to what has gone right and wrong for the Kings. You know, a lot of times we'll sit here and we'll discuss, we need more from Harrison Barnes. We need more from Kevin Huerter. But there are layers to this. And to win these games and to improve, you need all hands on deck. And the Kings have not necessarily been getting those hands on deck. So we will take a deeper dive into what has not gone as expected for the Kings this season. When we get back, we preview the Bucks and discuss whether or not the Kings are going to be able to finally break the 15-game losing streak. The last time was 2016. Think back to a simpler time of 2016. That's the last time the Kings beat the Bucks. But they're going to do it tonight. A Bucks beam coming up. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
The NBA app is everyone's app. Every fan of every team.
Oh, my goodness.
Everyone who follows LeBron, Tatum, and Embiid in the app. Every warrior who's ready to go to battle over three-point percentages. Every streetwear king who's here for the tunnel fits. Every young buck, nugget, and grizzly who wants to take a peek behind the scenes of the league. And everyone else on this floating basketball we call Earth. Download the NBA app today. Available in the Google Play, Apple app, and Android stores.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by California Army National Guard, Major Wood Home Furnishings, and RVs of Sacramento.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Opportunity to win tickets to see Hassan Minhaj. The calls came in quick. Yesterday, we chose caller number 4, and they came in quick, so congrats to that winner. You have another chance at 1 p.m. thanks to Live Nation, who has teamed up with Sactown Sports and the Bucks. I mean, you make this blockbuster deal to get Damian Lillard. It hasn't looked great. You end up it didn't look bad, but you fired your coach anyway because there were some games that you lost that you shouldn't have lost. And now you move on to Doc Rivers. Feels like they have started to turn things around. Chris, what are your feelings on the Bucks and the biggest issues for the Kings handling a team like this? We know their length, and if Chris Middleton plays, that's even more length. You know how much I love me some Bobby Portis. There you go. But hopefully tonight Bobby is not balling. I feel like Bobby Portis, You like the twins, right? The Lopez twins. I feel like Bobby Portis is my Lopez twins for you.
That's interesting. I feel like a lot of my mom or my girlfriend's mom, like they know Bobby Portis as the scary eye man and like exclusively as that, which is awesome because he's got an interesting look to him. He's a baller.
He's intense.
His eyes are pretty intense and they look like they're actually about to pop out of his head. So it's pretty crazy. But I'm excited to see the Bucks today. They definitely are starting to play a lot better. They started off I have it here 3-7. They started under Doc Rivers in their first 10. They have since gone 7-2 So they have definitely started to turn a corner. And from what I hear, I mean, I've listened to a couple of my boy Brooke Lopez, heard him talk about just kind of the difference of what it's been between Adrian Griffin and Doc Rivers. And it's kind of crazy because it's not like Doc's actually doing the opposite of what you would think. Brooke said he's just making it simple. Like it's just everything is very, hey, we're going to run Dame Giannis pick and rolls. We're going to run Dame Lopez pick and pops. And we're just going to have the offense work. And their defense is really the thing that was what they were so great at this entire run. They lose Drew Holiday. They lose their defensive edge. Since they've been incredible. I think I have a note here that they've held 6 opponents under 100 points since Doc took over. It's been 19 games. So in 6 of the 19 games that they've played under Doc Rivers, they've allowed under 100 points, and they only allowed it one time in the first, or that only happened once in the first 46 games with Adrian Griffin. So, I mean, they're kind of getting back to what they were great at, what made them great, and that makes them scary. And that makes that last game where the Kings lost in that overtime and Dame hits the game winner, makes it a bit of a missed opportunity, which, if you've heard that one before, you've been paying attention this year.
That is a bit of, you talk about theme, and that's not a great theme to have.
Really
but
not.
That is really a lot of what the theme has been this year for the Kings. And I continue to say, what's been confusing to me, and as we discuss Giannis and what his legacy will be, I'm getting confused now. You had the Achilles, right? Where it looked terrible. He plays the next game. Now he's probable with a knee. It's not even the Achilles anymore. So I don't know if it's time to worry about Giannis and how much longer he can, the Kings, they run and chuck. Giannis runs and dunks. So I don't know how much Giannis is going to be able, or how much longer Giannis is going to be able to play at this level. But, now he's probable today. So the Kings are probably going to see him, and there's just no answer. There's just no answer when he's just doing whatever he wants to do.
No, I mean, you can do the classic Van Gundy build an effing wall, and that's kind of your best hope, is to take a lot of charges and just try and establish the paint. I mean, Trey Lyles is probably the Kings. Trey Lyles and Davion are probably the 2 best Kings at taking charges. I guess you try and play them and tell them, hey, if you see Giannis driving at half court, just stand in front of the key and just take one for the team, I guess. Because that's the tough thing about going against Giannis is it's easy to say, like, just build a wall, stand in front of him, hold your ground. But that dude's 6'11" and built like a Greek god. Like it's gonna hurt to take that charge 3-4 times, and he's more than willing to take those charges.
And you might not get the call.
Probably won't.
Giannis is good. Giannis is slippery.
He is the merchant. If I'm not mistaken, especially with Joel out now, I believe Giannis is number 1 in the NBA in free throw attempts. He is, with Joel out. Giannis and Joel are the only 2 players averaging 11 free throws. Of course, Joel's only played
11.
Joel's only played 65 games. Giannis has played 62. I'm sorry. Joel's only played 35 games. Giannis has played 62 and is at 11. Luka Doncic is in 3rd and has 8.9. So he's a whole trip, free throw trip to the line more than the 2nd place guy right now.
I have a dumb question, but I feel like it needs to be asked.
Yes, sir.
Are you guys more worried if Giannis doesn't play tonight? And I'm sorry for asking but it's been this kind of season. Right?
Yes. Oh no, absolutely.
I'm worried I'm worried either way.
I would say the Bucks. I would like to believe that if Giannis isn't playing, the Kings are absolutely in a better spot, and that's only because Giannis specific. It would almost be like if Luka's out for Dallas. It's like that's a really, really big piece to have out.
They did get the Clippers without Giannis, though.
I believe so. Yeah,
Damian Lillard balled out.
I mean, they have.
But yeah.
Do you guys believe? To follow up on that, do you guys believe in the Ewing effect at all?
I think that it's certain cases, and I think that Karl Anthony Towns is more the Ewing theory that I would look for.
If you don't know, too, I guess explain it, right? Patrick Ewing, when he went out for the Knicks, they kind of went off in the 90s, right?
Yes.
And were good without him, and it kind of sprung this effect. Like if you're missing your all-star, you're missing a great player. the team rallies and gets better. There's all these. It's kind of a silly theory, but some people buy into it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all has a timeline, right? I mean, you can go on a run, but ultimately you're not better without your best guys. Yeah. I'm more so worried about who they're going to match up with Giannis, because just talking about the Kings and the Ewing theory, that would not work out without Sabonis. That would not work out without Sabonis at all. And I don't want to see Sabonis anywhere near Giannis, because with that foul merchant, Sabonis will be in foul trouble, and then you're cooked.
Yeah, and, you probably want HB on him. Maybe you throw, like I said, Trey Lyles on Giannis a lot. Maybe you throw Duarte out there just to kind of pick up some fouls. But, yeah, I mean, that's – it's not really a Kings-specific problem, but the Kings definitely have an issue with guarding Paul George's, Kawhi's, the LeBrons of the world anyway, KD's of the world anyway. Mm-hmm. Kings have nobody who even remotely looks like they would give Giannis any problem.
No, and a lot of teams don't.
Exactly.
Right? A lot of teams
Kings
don't
specifically feel like they have not even like a shot.
Well, yeah, I think the difference is the Kings don't even have guys that could give Giannis a different look.
No,
that might throw him off for a
Mo Harkless or something.
Yeah, somebody like that, and that goes back to some of these conversations we've had as far as Harrison Barnes and why you have Coach Mike Brown saying, I'm not taking him out, I'm not starting him. It is really, I think that's the most glaring issue.
Yeah.
And people bring up, we had a caller yesterday, we need a wing. We can talk about that in the summer. But as of right now, the best they can do, it feels like, what is it, Pawn Stars? The best we can do for you is a Harrison Barnes. And that's exactly what the Kings have. And that's why you find him playing so much, because that's the best that they have as far as a wing forward type of defender. And Keegan Murray is just not there yet.
What do you think about, we've talked a lot on this show and just in general this season about blitzing and double teaming really in general. Do the Kings just look to double Giannis every single time? I mean, they did it with Nikola Jokic. Like, do you just double Giannis every time and make him into a playmaker? Like, that's not really where Giannis thrives. Like, I would guess that, especially if Middleton's not playing, I think I'm looking at it here. They started Jay Crowder instead of Chris Middleton. Do you maybe just double with Keegan and HB on Giannis and say, hey, if Jay Crowder is going to have a night, if he's going to, turn back the clock and have a 5 for 8 3-point performance, we'll just have to live with it because it's better than Giannis. I mean, I'm looking at it. Him and Dame combined for 70 points the other day against the Clippers. So, that feels, and Giannis went to the line 15 times, by the way. Mm-hmm. So it just sounds better to have Jay Crowder beat you than to just live and die with Giannis and Dame killing you the entire game.
And the thing is, Jay Crowder's another veteran. This isn't going to be something that they haven't seen before.
Right.
And I would say one of the areas that a lot of people haven't talked enough about as far as Dame is his playmaking. Dame wasn't putting up these type of assists in Portland, right? He was a scorer.
Yeah.
He would that's really what he would do the most. But Dame has been playmaking, and the problem is you got two foul merchants. Okay,
yeah,
because you have Giannis and Dame.
Yeah, Dame's a bit of a foul merchant.
Dame will get to the line. He's got a little bit more
want the press out there.
Integrity.
He's 8th right now in free throws per game.
So you got two dudes in the top 10,
and he shoots 92%. Do not let Dame to the line. Giannis is at 66%.
Exactly. So I think you have to throw a couple different looks and just hope that you can survive the storm. But yeah, there's no good options here. And the question is, when we discuss Keegan Murray coming to bring that blitz, is Keegan Murray going to play? He's questionable.
Yeah.
We discuss whether or not he'll play and why he's in this, and who plays for him and why he is in this situation. Cough, cough, Dylan Brooks. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Kings had their hearts ripped out in Milwaukee, and now they go for revenge.
Forces the shot. It's no good. Rebound. Track down. Malik Monk has it. Races up the floor. Is he going to drive it? He pulls up at the elbow. Circles back out. Steps into a three. He scores the triple. Game tied at 129.
It's the Kings and Bucks tonight at Golden One Center. Tip-off at 7 on your home of the Kings, Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Tuesday. We're looking at clouds, sunshine, and the occasional shower possible this afternoon. Temperatures will top out in the mid-60s. Expect clearing overnight tonight and dropping down to the low 40s overnight. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
With conference championships around the corner, now's the time to register for the Dos Million Bracket Challenge. Sign up now at TwinPeaksBracketChallenge.com. Then fill out your bracket before the tournament tips off March 21st.
If you're looking to get a new car, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Sure, you love your old car, but you know it's not normal to give instructions on how to open the window. It should be self-explanatory, but it's not. And notice how when you're in other people's cars, you can feel cushion in the seats? That's pretty nice, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new car. It's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Febreze Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week. Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, you know I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
To thank you for 40 unforgettable years, Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs, like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
Keegan Murray is being listed as questionable. He left the game on Sunday, then came back, which now it felt like earlier on, Chris, when a guy, and I know it's not unique to this season, but when a guy comes back, you all take a breath.
Yes.
Now you basically can't take a breath until the next game because it's just adrenaline and the juices are flowing. Because the same thing happened with De'Aaron. And didn't De'Aaron miss 2 games when that happened at the beginning of the season?
Yeah. I'm working on this theory, and I've heard it before. I've heard it more so with football talk, but I'm working on this theory that the worse that an injury looks in real time, the less serious it actually is. And like, if it looks minor and like you said, like the guy comes back, he's probably going to miss like a week or 2 weeks because you look at the Alperen Şengün injury.
Yeah.
It does not get any more gruesome looking than that. He twists his ankle, his knee buckles, he gets wheelchaired off. And then they're saying, actually there's not any structural damage to Alperen Şengün and he could be back in about a week or so. So I just don't know what to do with injuries anymore. And I mean, it wasn't the cleanest play for those who haven't seen it. Keegan and Dylan Brooks are jostling for a rebound underneath the basket. And, you can maybe, give Dylan Brooks the benefit of the doubt, but it does appear as if Dylan Brooks takes an extra step towards Keegan and pretty much puts Keegan's ankle to touch the court. But, it was unfortunate, but yeah, it did not look great in the moment.
It was dirty.
It was pretty dirty.
It was dirty. I mean, if you're looking at the play, Dylan literally seeks out Keegan's foot with his foot and just proceeds to step on.
Where else was he supposed to put his foot? That's the Draymond question. Come on. Where else? Where else, guys?
Dylan Brooks, also known as Villain Brooks.
That's right, Dylan the Villain.
This is what he does. And now you have Keegan Murray, who is just questionable.
Innocent kid.
When was that, Chris, in Minnesota? When that happened, who started in place of Keegan?
I'm checking it now. It looks like Keegan ended up missing 4 games in that stretch, and the Kings pretty much ran out a lineup of Fox, Huerter, and Duarte, all of those games. Duarte still, at that point in the season, it's pretty early. It was in the first 20 games of the year.
Right.
Duarte was still kind of in and out. He was struggling. He only was playing like 15 minutes in a lot of these games. So if I had to guess if Keegan's going to miss at this point in the season, even though here's the thing though, Chris Duarte has gotten a lot of DNP CDs here recently. And I know that was kind of the Duarte thing throughout this year, but I don't know. Like, does it make sense to throw Chris Duarte in there right now after some DNP CDs, or should you maybe, could the Kings maybe look to throw, I've been asking for it, Keon Ellis into the starting lineup and throw Kevin Huerter at the 3 maybe.
Do it.
It's not perfect, but it's, it's not that bad. Like, it makes a little bit of sense with how well Keon's playing, and doesn't really make a lot of sense to, again, bring Chris Duarte from not playing at all to then, hey, here's the starting spot again. Like, that's not really putting him in a situation to succeed.
Every time they try to move on from Chris Duarte, it feels like Avengers. Yeah. You couldn't live with your failures. And where did that lead you? Back to me.
That's right.
Every single time. It's
crazy.
If Keegan does play, can I just say it's time to start the conversation to start Keon Ellis instead of Kevin Huerter? Is that crazy?
You're saying if Keegan plays, then starting, okay. I mean, I'm for it. The question becomes, and I think it's been the and I presented as well with starting Keon, like, does Kevin Huerter, like, what are you hoping, not you specifically, but what would the team be hoping Kevin Huerter's role then changes to off the bench? Like, is just a spot up shooter pretty much at that point, which he kind of already is, but it makes a lot more sense to be in a spot up shooter in a lineup with, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, and having HB out there as well. Like, it makes sense when you have good offensive weapons, but if he's coming off the bench and he's playing with Davion Mitchell and maybe Sabonis is still out there, maybe Monk is out there for a 3-guard line. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to make as much sense, but I guess at this point you're hoping to get whatever you can from Kevin Huerter.
I think it's more about Keon and the defense.
Sure, I guess you can't even really think. It doesn't matter. You don't deserve.
You have spent the whole season.
Sure, that's totally fair.
In a good position, Kevin Huerter.
Yeah,
and you haven't really done much.
Absolutely.
So I'm not counting on Kevin Huerter giving me anything at this point in time.
That's very fair.
And at this point, you have to defend.
Yeah.
And at least we know that Keon can defend, and he can hit some shots too.
For sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
he's not a brick out there. He's not Thabo Sefolosha out there.
No, he's not Andre Roberson. No, he can hit some shots, and right now you cannot stop anything.
Yeah.
So I just say give it a look, and why not?
I'm right there with you. I mean, I think Keon's deserved it. I think he's played well enough, and I think he's also started a couple games. Like he started in that OKC game where the Kings won. I think he started in another game against a really good competition that the Kings won as well. It wouldn't be the craziest thing at this point in the season. Like you said, like they need defense, I think, more than anything else. And Keon will provide that. He's just a disruptor. I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's just a matter of, I mean, it's really all up to Mike Brown. And if they're willing, because at that point you're giving up on Kevin. Like do you feel like you can reinsert him? That was my question. If he's out of the lineup, he's done. At that point, like how do you reinsert him? Because that would be, I think, the second or third time that you've benched him this year. Like, and with 20 games left, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad decision. It's just I don't even know if risky is the right word. It's just you've kind of committed to this plan, and it would be a hard shift, I think. Is
Klay Thompson got benched?
He sure did.
Klay Thompson got benched.
He absolutely did.
Okay, if Klay Thompson can get benched and not go under and still show up,
no, you're right,
when his number got called, then I am not having a conversation about Kevin Huerter and his feelings or whatever it is. 916-339-1140. Am I crazy? Okay, Dwayne Baker on the Sack Chat says, Allen out of his mind with this one.
I don't think so. I wouldn't say out of your mind. Absolutely not. I think it's a risk. It's definitely a risk. Like you're paying Kevin, like even just the optics of paying Kevin Huerter, whatever, $15 million, and then you're going to start this guy that you just gave you a 3-year, whatever, $3 million contract to. Like the optics don't make sense. But if and I know for a fact Dwayne's watched the games for sure. I just think that if you've watched the games, you've seen Kevin is not, if he's not hitting shots, it's fine that he's better. He's improved on the defensive end, the deflections, all that stuff. He has been improved, but he's still getting killed on the defensive end. I don't know if he's not making shots, how you can justify just throwing him out there, hoping that he's going to start hitting them, because the reality too is he's not the only shooter on this team.
That's what I'm saying.
You have other guys who can definitely fill in for those spots. And again, it makes me question what Kevin Huerter's role would be off the bench, but that's not really it is the Kings' problem, but like their thing is we need to at least get the best guys out there. And if Kevin's not one of he's going to have to figure it out. Like he's going to have to figure out how to be effective in limited minutes, which he's already getting. At the very least, if he's going to be coming off the bench, maybe there's more of a sense of urgency of, hey, if I'm Kevin Huerter and I know I'm only getting 10 to 15 minutes, well, in that first stint out there, I'm going to put up at least 2 shots, and we're going to get an answer to whether or not I'm feeling it on that day. So it might be a positive, and it definitely might light a little fire under him. So I don't think that it's crazy. I don't think that it's the wrong thing to do. I just think it's a bit of a statement, and it's a matter of if Mike Brown is comfortable making that statement at this point in the season. And I'm willing to rock either way. I still believe that there's still hope that Kevin Huerter can, at this point, we're not hoping for him turning it around. We're just hoping for him getting hot at the right time. I think there's still hope for that. But at the same time, you've given him plenty of opportunity. And Keon, this isn't a playoff situation. Keon has played well enough to justify, I think, earning more minutes. And it can also lead to Davion Mitchell. If your problem is Davion is the one who actually, it can lead to both of them getting more minutes, but it's just Keon in that starting spot because he's a little bit more versatile. I think
that's right.
It leads to Davion eating more as well.
You need that length.
Yeah.
You need that length
Absolutely.
on that team, and you can throw different looks at the point guards as well. You have all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Dwayne is responding, saying, do NBA players respond to constant fluctuation of rotations? Okay, you start today. Well, the bottom line is that's already been happening, okay? I talked to Chris Duarte about that. He has no clue when he's playing. Keon has no clue when he's playing. Davion has no clue when he's playing. The one guy who, they pulled him before, but the one guy in the lineup that has only been pulled once, or the person that they've said, here, Kevin, here. Yeah. Do what you got to do. Yeah. We're not fluctuating him.
Yes.
So explain this to me. How does Keon Ellis and Davion play better and shoot better than Kevin Huerter when they don't know when they're playing?
Exactly.
So I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, and with minutes fluctuating, like you only get upset about minutes fluctuating if somebody's playing well and they can't get minutes. More like Keon and Davion.
Mm-hmm.
You don't complain about your minutes fluctuating when you're struggling. Like that's what happens. That is a result of you struggling. And yeah, you're gonna have to figure it out. Like you can't just ride Kevin Huerter for 82 games and hope that he just eventually figures it out. At some point, you got to send the message. And it's much like booing. Right now feels like a pretty good time. If you feel like you've been thinking about maybe making that move, you still got some time to have it actually incorporate into being a solidified rotation. So if not now, then never. So I wouldn't say all for it, but I think that it's worth a thought, and at the least, it might be at least worth a look for a game or two.
The argument that I would have would not be for Kevin Huerter this season. It would be for, if you do have plans to keep him, then that relationship could be strained. But as far as this season is concerned, I personally have seen enough. Yeah. But if you are not, hey, I don't want to rock the boat because we might have to bring him back. Moving forward, because if he does get moved, who's to say that he's going to start on the next team? You might be doing him a favor. Right. Your role might be changing. Yeah. All right. We got something here from the 415. We will read it when we return from a quick break, and also we will talk Niners and the moves that they have made. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
At LL Floyd, we've been a trusted partner to pros for over 30 years. With over 400 nationwide warehouses full of in-stock, job-ready inventory, you'll get what you need. And our exclusive pro pricing means that pros never pay retail. Because at LL Floyd, all we do is floors. So we're going to do it right. Sign up for a free pro account today to start getting pro benefits.
Hey guys, do you know your T level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Revive's customized ED treatments can provide immediate results, restore blood flow naturally, and even bring spontaneity back into your love life. With both in-person and telemedicine appointments available, plus free shipping directly to you, Revive takes the hassle out of treating low T and ED. Having an optimal testosterone level can change your whole life, and it starts with knowing your T level. Take that first step and book your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation, and kickstart your treatment with a free supply of ED medication this month only. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566, or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house, even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found you.
How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now, you know, I took the half-hour drive to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, and I came home with the finest car I've ever owned. I'm rocking that brand new EQS SUV they outfitted me with, and it's stylish and so comfortable. I love Mercedes cars. Also, Mercedes builds amazing commercial vehicles. Now, if you own a business, Mercedes builds commercial vans capable of any job. And with special interest rates as low as 4.9% on new Sprinter vans, plus the available tax breaks on Sprinter vans for commercial use, choosing the Mercedes van is a smart move. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has a huge full-service commercial fleet center. Go see my good friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Just a half-hour drive down I-5 from SAC, and it's online all the time at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com.
At Lowe's, pros save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 230 or more select James Hardie fiber cement siding panels. And there's more. Save 10% when you buy 9 or more select premium foam flooring underlayment. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Ace on the track.
The Niners have extended safety George Odom to a 2-year extension, the max value of $10.2 million. So they are holding on. That secondary that is much improved from a couple years ago, but they can't be done yet. The Niners cannot be done yet. Real quick, getting to this 415. Shout out to the 415. I like Stiles' idea. I would even flirt with even starting Trey at the 4 and move Barnes to the bench. Gives us more offensive options and size. It stretches the floor out a lot more. I just feel bad for Mike Brown because he's trying to do his best to make lemonade out of the non-lemonade that Monty McNair gave him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Trey at the 4, I'm not as gung-ho about. It's just, I think that kind of is a mixture of Trey's been a little bit disappointing this season.
That's the problem.
And I just don't know how much more he's giving you over HB. HB is a little bit more mobile, and I think they like the speed that HB kind of allows them to play at, where Trey is just, not much, but Trey is just a little bit slower and a little bit more of your traditional 4 than HB is. So I think they just kind of like to play fast and in theory have the versatility of HB, but it's not perfect. And you're right. I think at the end of the day, the problem is Mike Brown knows what kind of guys he wants out there. He just doesn't have those guys.
I think it could have been possible, right? If it was undeniable and Trey Lyles was just cooking.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I think it could have happened. But unfortunately, Trey Lyles is really taking a step back these last couple games. I think that coach is looking at these positions, certain positions, as just positions, not players per se. I know we have mentioned this before, but if you look at that position of that power forward, small forward situation, that Harrison Barnes role, right? They played 41 minutes, okay, and they combined for 5 points and 3 rebounds.
How many assists?
0.
Yeah.
So
that's a big problem.
And if you want to make the argument, you just said if Keon or Davion, whoever, if they played more, they could make more of an impact. I think the problem is Keon, we know, would give you something that Kevin Huerter is not giving you.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Keon and Davion.
Both of them. Yeah. Right now, Trey Lyles isn't really giving you anything that Harrison Barnes isn't giving you.
Exactly.
But if he had balled out, I do think
absolutely.
I look, coach didn't want to pull JaVale. Okay, he did not want to pull JaVale, and eventually he had no choice. Trey Lyles, and that's what they say all throughout high school, make it so that the coach does not have a choice. And Trey Lyles has not played well enough this season to put the Kings in a position to where they did not have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. He's played really well. I'm looking at his numbers. They're actually almost identical to what it was last year, but at the same time, it's just been up and down with Trey. He's been in and out of the lineup. He, of course, was hurt earlier in the year to start the season, and it just never really felt like he had a stretch of games where he was really, like you said, just kind of cooking. Hasn't had a lot of 3-4 3-pointer games. It just hasn't looked as good this year from Trey. And of course, like a lot of the talk being Trey at the backup center, and haven't really seen much of it. And what we have seen, it hasn't really worked. So I think, I think you put it perfectly. Like, it's not like Trey is necessarily giving you something that HB isn't. You're just kind of hoping to get a better version of what HB is doing. And there's not really much reason to believe that that's going to happen. So I think you just got to give the edge to HB, who is, just been in the past the more reliable, option, and just a little bit of a quicker athlete than Trey is. But, they're pretty much, for all intents and purposes, giving you about the same production.
Yeah, we will continue to break down the Kings and some of the issues that the Kings have had at the top of the hour. Switching over here to Niners and some of the moves that the Niners have made. They signed Leonard Floyd to a 2-year deal worth $20 million. Has started 120 of the last 121 games in his 8-year NFL career with Chicago, Los Angeles, and Buffalo. Over the past 4 seasons, Floyd has registered 39.5 sacks with 216 tackles and 4 forced fumbles. I think the way I look at Leonard Floyd, and maybe it's not apples to apples, but it feels like a Frank Gore type situation for a pass rusher, right?
What do you mean by that?
You just know he's going to play, and he's going to be out there,
okay.
right? He might not put up the crazy numbers per the amount of time that he has played, but he's out there. And I think that's something that's kind of ability, right? The Niners have had an issue with. Somebody opposite Nick Bosa. They've tried multiple guys. It has not worked out.
Down the list.
You can go down the list, and who do you have? Yeah, you had Ebukam. You had a bunch of different guys. You weren't able to hold on to Clelin Ferrell, so he's gone now. So right. I think that this is a dude who I know a lot of Niner fans weren't super juiced, but at the same time, you got to get somebody in there. And they also go on to sign Yetur Gross-Matos to a 2-year deal. He was somebody that the Niners were really interested in back in Penn State. Didn't end up drafting him, didn't end up getting a hold of him, but they do now. And he's another dude, which is crazy upside that the Niners are hoping they can unlock.
Yeah, he's massive. He's a massive, massive human in the base. He's one of those what are they, like, off the bus guys where it's like he gets off the bus and it's just kind of for like he walks off and you're like, oh my gosh, what, we have to play this school?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, he's 6'5", 265 pounds, 26 years old. And I mean, he's a monster. It seems like the Niners might be trying a bit of a committee maybe on the opposite side, and those are 2 really, really good players. And I think that they learned last year maybe that, and there's some other factors that play into it, but maybe just throwing talent at the defensive line didn't necessarily equal havoc. I think that they might be finding that, having fresh bodies in there of just really quality guys on the opposite end of Bosa could be the answer. And actually really strange, not to bring down the mood, but I saw a really interesting note about Yetur Gross-Matos. Again, hate to bring it down, but when he was a kid, his father passed away saving him from drowning. And I think his father passed away drowning. And then his brother, his younger brother, insane, got struck by lightning and passed away.
Yeah, I saw that story going around. Obviously, just incredibly sad, and he's trying to just
and he's 26.
Make his way.
He's
26. He's been through a lot, man.
That's crazy.
He's been through a lot.
Yeah,
I think if we're going back to the D line, Drake Jackson's still there for the Niners too. A guy they were pretty high on, who had 3 sacks in 1 game last year.
That's right.
But then injuries bugged him. He had surgery in mid-early January this year. So start of the playoffs. He says he's going to be back for training camp, but that's a guy, another high upside guy potentially, who could do some damage. I don't know if he will, but it's potential.
And he looked great. I know it's just a preseason, but he looked great in the preseason. The thing is, Nate, that's basically how the Niners got Drake Jackson, because he was supposed to be a top pick at USC.
That's right.
What happened? Injuries. Yeah. But the Niners, they've hit and missed on some of these dudes.
Yeah,
George Kittle drops because of injury in college, but ends up being a stud. So that what the Niners like to do, and they hope that you can just hang around and do some things for you. Whether or not that happens now, it looks like Drake Jackson coming back with more injury is not great, but
Well, yeah, coming off the surgery, not great. But, I mean, the injury thing, that's kind of why those guys slip to those positions.
But that's what
draft,
I'm saying.
Right?
I think they try to find upside guys.
And I would say I like the way they do it because I think, in my opinion, it's worked very well.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, you look at their roster, you look at all the, almost said all-stars, whatever it's called in the NFL.
All pros?
All pro.
Well, no,
yeah.
don't say pro bowlers, please.
Well,
Pro
yeah,
bowlers.
I mean, that's what they, yeah.
I don't like it.
Okay.
Just
yeah, I also think of the 2016 Eagles, that the year Foles won 17. That D line on the Eagles was committee. It was about 8 to 9 guys with, I mean, I don't want to say one star, but Fletcher Cox was kind of the guy.
Yeah.
And then they would rotate in and out. So I'm not upset with it. I'm not upset. I'm upset to see Arik Armstead go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they're still saying, "Oh, is there a chance if you don't sign this guy or that guy?" But
I don't think he's been officially released yet.
Right. Well, he can't be. It's the same time, I think, as everybody else with that. What is it? Is it the June 1st or is it the March?
Oh,
I know there's 2 of them.
I
think it's June.
Yeah, I know the trade thing. I think the trade deadline is July 15th. Or somewhere around there because the whole T. Higgins thing.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not 100% on that. But anyways,
there you go. When we return back to Kings talk, peeling back the Kings issues and how they can improve towards the end of the season. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk. And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, we'll use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Ball forward, take your base. The only thing worse than a pitcher running out of gas on the mound is your old phone running out of storage for your photos in the stands. Goodbye, home run! Switch to Verizon and get a great deal on a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage for all the ballpark pics you want. Just trade in your iPhone, any model, in any condition, so you'll feel like you're winning, even when your team's not. Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a great deal on iPhone 15 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate and get iPad and Apple Watch SE with eligible service plan. Only on Verizon.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Live Nation has teamed up with Sactown Sports for your chance to see local legend Hassan Minaj at the Safe Credit Union Performing Arts Center. Beautiful downtown Sacramento, March 29th. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline at 1 p.m. and Nate will pick the winner. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, as we discuss the Sacramento Kings, and just wanted to peel back the layers here as we always discuss Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter. And it's not to say that what we're saying isn't true, or as far as our opinions on them, you can agree to disagree, whatever it is, but they are always the two topics of conversation. So it's time to peel back the layers and have a conversation about others, right, on the team and where the misses happened. And you talked a little bit about it, Chris, in the segment prior, but Trey Lyles, I mean, signing Trey Lyles, that was that was, relatively speaking, a big deal, hoping that he would take another step and be somebody that maybe could challenge Harrison Barnes, or at least have us questioning whether or not Harrison should be starting just based on how well Trey could be playing. And Trey, that has not been the case so far.
Yeah, I don't know if they brought him in with any hope that he would actually contest the starting spot. I think he was always kind of brought in to be that bench guy that was just, going to be your in the rotation consistently, but be an impact guy who could be versatile. He could play the 4, he could play the 5. And he could give you, perimeter scoring, but also not sacrifice rebounding. And he was just kind of meant to be the glue guy. And I think he has been that, but I think the problem is he hasn't been better than what he was last year. I mean, I think the Kings were hoping that with another year of comfortability and stability across the board, that he would improve and just be a little bit more impactful. And I think we've just kind of seen the same guy, if not. It's just, and I'm surprised to look at his numbers and see that he's shooting pretty much the same percentage from the field and actually like 20% better from 3 overall on the season, because it just hasn't felt like it. It felt like last year Trey just had a much bigger impact. Maybe it was just down the stretch. Maybe it was just more in some key games, but it just hasn't really felt like he's had the impact that I think the Kings were banking on this year, regardless of everybody else's situation and where everybody else's play has fallen this season. I just think Trey's individual performance is just kind of wanted me has kind of left me wanting more. And it's not a lot more. I don't think there's necessarily a ton more he can do. Maybe rebound just a skosh more and hit another 3 per game. But, really he's just been disappointed. And you say it all the time, but if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And it has felt like that a little bit with Trey, where it's just, I think, again, they brought him in hoping he would have a bit of an elevated role. And I think at the best, it's been the same role that it was last year.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that the reason you're seeing the 3-point percentage similar to last season is because he came in hot. Because remember, Trey was injured. And he came in, and what did he hit? 3-4 threes in that first game? Yeah. And he's really built up a good percentage that just continues to go down. Now, his last 10 games, Chris, he's shooting 21.7% from 3-point range.
And we've talked about how he's not even pulling them either.
Right.
Like, I mean, maybe it's because he's looking at the percentage.
He's missing, and he's thinking, I don't want it to go down any more than this.
Yeah, but it's like, you got to shoot through it. Like, the Kings need him to shoot, and we've seen his pump fakes and drives, just it hasn't really worked. And the Kings need him to stretch the floor. And if he's not stretching the floor, then he's kind of just a undersized center. And there's not really much reason to play him out there as the stretch 5. And so, I guess it's not surprising because it has felt that way, but for it to be at 20%, I mean, you're pretty much a non-factor at that point. I don't even think like the worst shooting player like Davion Mitchell, I don't even think had a stretch of shooting 20% from the field. So that's extra terrible from Trey. And again, it's really unexpected. I just thought he was going to be a heavy contributor this year. I'm looking at his month-by-month numbers. Last month, actually, in the month of February, he shot 46% from 3. The month before that, in January, he shot 41%. But 16% so far in these 5 games in March. And it's not the time. It's not the time. It is not the time right now, as they need him to be hitting shots and them to be playing their best basketball. He is not, and it's been really disappointing because I've been his number one supporter, number one fan, and there's not much for me to champion right now.
The Trey Bays, they still live.
They do. They definitely,
They still live, and he can get back on the right track tonight against the Bucks. 2 more guys to highlight here as we peel back the layers, and I think the other guy is maybe the most obvious one is Sasha Vezenkov.
Yeah. I mean, and that's
the biggest swing and miss.
Yeah, because the Kings were banking. I mean, he's making just about the same money as Trey Lyles is. He was obviously like the most recruited player, NBA player I think I've ever seen. The Kings went full force to bring him over. You would have thought that this guy was going to be in the starting lineup day one with how much attention they were giving his recruitment. And, it's not just the injuries. It's like, even when he was playing, I wouldn't say he played bad when he played, but he never locked down a rotational spot. You can pick and choose whatever your reason is as to why. You could say Mike Brown just didn't like him. You can say his defense wasn't there. You can say he wasn't hitting shots. I don't know if it's probably a small combination of all of them, but I don't think any of them are necessarily absolutes. The bigger point is he never solidified a spot in the rotation. And so you never really knew what his impact was truly with this team. Like, he would have some good games and, sometimes it would lead to the Kings playing better, but you never really felt like, oh my gosh, Sasha kind of turned the momentum of this game, or just his energy, his presence, his gravity really shifted the Kings offense in those moments. And, I think it's a learning process, but I just think everybody across the board, Sasha included, Monty McNair, all the fans, you and me, I think we all just expected more out of Sasha this year. And it didn't happen for a variety of different reasons, but the bigger point is it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. I remember.
He is shooting, by the way. We saw him yesterday at practice taking some shots.
There you go. That's right. I do remember maybe there was one game where he came in and you thought, oh, okay. Yeah. But that's we're talking about one game here throughout the course of 82. That's just not going to cut the mustard. And last but not least, Chris Duarte.
I mean, really the same story as Sasha. It's just, less expectation coming in, but at the same time, I remember during preseason, there was conversations about should Chris Duarte start over Kevin Huerter even then. And then to go from Duarte, we talked about it earlier, getting some starts when Keegan Murray was out, still not really impressing, just fouling.
Yeah,
it felt
bad.
like for the first 2 months he was playing, he wouldn't even be able to get on the floor because he would pick up 2 fouls in the first minute. And then on top of that, he wasn't making shots. It was a new environment for him. You could feel that he just didn't quite understand what Kings basketball was at that time. And, I actually do think since the All-Star break, he's looked a lot better. But on that same token, like I said earlier, he's picked up a lot of DNP CDs recently. So I don't really know what the plan is for Chris Duarte. Like I said, I think he's playing better, but if none of it really matters and Mike Brown still isn't going to say, hey, that good play is good enough to justify, trying to work you into a solid rotation
you're going to play less.
spot.
You're going to play less.
You're going to play less. It's insane. So I don't know where we're at with Chris Duarte right now. I don't know if the trajectory is headed upwards. I don't know if it's flatlined. But, I'm intrigued still. I will say that. Like, I don't think Duarte, I'm at the point with Duarte where I'm like, I'm good. I know what I'm getting from him, and I don't want to see it. I think that there's potential that Chris Duarte could be a really good 3-and-D player that the Kings are looking for. I think he's just got to kind of find himself a bit. Like, it seems like when he gets out there, he's very high energy and just wanting to show off what he can do. And it's like, just take a breath, let the game come to you, and you can have an impact. I mean, he had a really great rookie season. It's just, it hasn't really worked out for him since. And I just think he needs to be comfortable.
Yeah, all of these guys, Chris Duarte being the youngest of the three, Chris Duarte 26, Trey and Sasha 28. So these guys, I mean, they're about to hit their prime. They're clearly not done yet. But if you had to pick next season when we're discussing, hey, you got to make some improvements. Yeah. You got to do this, you got to do that. Next season, who would you guess will be an impact player next season? And I guess you could take Trey out of it because Trey, we know what he's going to do.
Yeah, I guess. I would actually probably still pick Duarte. Actually, I like I said, I just think that there's something there, and he's a good shooter. He's got some defensive tenacity to him at the very least, and I think you can work with those things. And I could see him. I mean, if Keegan doesn't play tonight, I think he makes sense as a spot starter. And I think if you can find a level of consistency with him shooting the ball, like, it makes sense to have him in the rotation, even if it is, anywhere from, 7 to 15 to maybe even 20 if he's playing well minutes. I think he can have an impact. He's a guy who I don't really have to. I feel like I don't have to really think that hard to try and see where Mike Brown would want him to impact the game. Just attack the point of attack, be really physical on defense, and hit a three or two. That's really all they need from him.
Yeah, the difference between Sasha and some of the comps like Bogdanovich and dudes like that is that they can get you off the dribble.
Yeah.
And we haven't really seen that from Sasha. He's just a spot-up guy, and when he gets an opportunity, cool. But how many we're seeing that already with some of the players in the lineup. How many opportunities are you going to get throughout the course of the game? And then you're not going to shoot 100% either. So he's just he's limited as a defender and limited a bit as a scorer.
Yeah, playmaker too. Yeah,
as a playmaker. So I think that Chris Duarte is the safe bet, and hopefully he can get there. When we get back, we are discussing some pocket watching. I'll put it to you like this. It was not a great night for the Kings. They need this one tonight. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry. You never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
It's Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you want a deal that's a slam dunk, go see the winning team at Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is your truck headquarters with all your American-made favorites, like America's best-selling F-Series, F-150s, and Super Duties, or spacious new Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford, right here in Sacramento. You can buy any new Ford with zero down on approved credit, save big with low interest finance rates, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Check out the huge selection of inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership to see their most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. They'll help you out. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 35 years and counting.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Seeing some reports come out as we talk a bunch of NFL free agency. Drew Lock headed to back up Daniel Jones, or maybe that's a competition. Who knows out there? It's a Spider-Man meme, that's what it is. As we get into some of the NBA talk, this is from Casey Johnson, Bulls insider for NBC Sports Chicago. The Bulls will look to trade Zach LaVine again.
Okay.
This offseason.
Well, you got to find someone who wants that.
What do you think about it now?
I think it's still a lot of money. That is, of course, my first thought. I just don't think that it's destined for the Kings. I would say that feels like a bit of a Lakers move. I mean, let's see here. Zach LaVine, just trying to see the yearly average, $43 million yearly average for Zach LaVine. Next season, he'll be making 43. Season after that, 45. And then a player option, which, breaking news, he has just opted into because it's going to be worth $48 million. So he is locked up for 3 more years at a very, 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 very high rate. Just doesn't really make sense for the Kings.
And we have bag talk coming up here pretty late in the show, around 1:30. And during bag talk, we will discuss the best finessers in sports history.
Oh my goodness.
And that is all thanks to Kirk Cousins.
That's right.
And what he has been able to do. They're calling him Kirko Bags.
Oh yeah.
Because he has literally been able to make a lot
duffel
of money.
bags.
Yes.
Duffel bags.
Speaking of bags and pocket watching, wasn't a great night for the Kings last night. Suns won, Mavericks won, Warriors won.
0-3.
0-3.
It helps to helping the Sacramento Kings last night.
Nobody
no love
gave a helping hand
absolutely
to the Kings. You know what? Why should they? If the Kings are going to help themselves, we're done with helping. The Celtics beat the Suns.
Yeah.
They said, "Hey, we're going to give you an opportunity," and the Kings said, "We don't want it.
We're good.
We're going to lose. We're going to lose to the Rockets.
We want to do things the hard way."
Yeah, and the Suns, they got to play the Cavs with no Donovan Mitchell.
That's right. Yep.
And you had to go to Cleveland, but you beat the Cavs without Donovan Mitchell, because that's what you're supposed to do.
That's right.
The
What a
Warriors,
concept.
they beat the Spurs Warriors
tried
did not
to lose.
have.
They tried to lose that game.
They did, but no Steph Curry though.
Yeah.
But no Steph
Sure.
Curry. The Warriors still get it done, and the Mavericks just dismantle the Bulls, who at least somebody can beat the Bulls.
That's right. Yeah.
The Mavericks beat the Bulls 127 to 92.
Yeah, and from what I understand, Luka was almost stat padded to get that. I talked the other day. He had like 5 straight 30-point triple doubles.
Mm-hmm.
He had 27 points in a triple double, but I guess he was out there in the fourth as they were up by like 30 points or something like that.
Does that make you feel the same way it made you feel when Sabonis got put back in the game?
At the very least, they didn't stretch it so that he actually got the 30. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit. It's just, I just don't love it. Like it's.
But what's your line?
Gross.
But
Like,
what's your line?
It's just like, why do we care so much about these numbers?
Keegan.
Yeah.
When Keegan was cooking,
Yeah.
and he got taken out because I believe at the time the Kings were up
Oh,
big.
wait, in his 47-point game.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Like
What
after
is the
third
line
quarter,
for you as far as making history and, hey, don't for lack of a better term, disrespect the game.
I think if you have an actual chance to make history, sure. If you're sitting at 70 points through 3 quarters, I don't care how much you're up. Yeah, go for 100, go for 8, whatever. Go for that. But yeah, like a 30-point triple-double in 6 straight games, if that's the first time, it's like, who cares?
Yeah,
and like Sabonis getting, 46 or whatever, he's going to break 48 straight triple or double doubles. It's cool, but at the same time, like, what's the difference between that and him having double doubles in 78 out of 82? Like, it's just so stupid. And the risk reward. I mean, and of course these guys aren't getting hurt, but like, if they do get hurt, it's just not. You're going to look really stupid, and it's not going to be worth the cool, factoid in the bottom of the rundown. Like, it's not worth it. And I think it's just kind of corny. Like, it's just like, if you're an NBA team, like, you guys barely get rest. If the Mavericks are up by 30 in the fourth quarter, sit Luka down. That's a lot more important to have him rested and healthy than to have him have a 30-point triple-double. It's just like, who cares?
Yeah, I wonder what Adam Silver thinks of it, because you're giving a reason for people to watch, but then the very next day, not that they would do it now because you're close to the playoffs and you got to win every game, but if this happened at the beginning of the season, then all of a sudden Lucas sits another game, they're, oh my goodness, this is what's wrong. You can't sit these games. You can't load manage and things like that. But
yeah, if you start load managing the fourth quarter, are people going to, fans are going to start leaving. They're going to turn off your TVs.
Right.
Can we make these games?
There's always something. There's always something. Let's get out to TC, who wants to be a part of the conversation, 916-339-1140. If you want to be a part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Man, what's going on? Stiles and Watkins, can y'all hear me clear?
We got you.
Sound perfect.
Hey, yeah, for sure. Look, man, the Kings don't get it together, man. There's just a lot going on. I mean, the guys got to buckle down, man, and then look within themselves and get it together. You know what I'm saying? We want to put, I'm always getting on here saying Mike got to get it together, but it's a team, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you got half the team, Trey Lyles, Monk, people, Alex Lynn, we can throw some names in there that's taking it serious that want to play, and you got the other half that's kind of like, we're just here just to be here, so everybody got to get on the same page. They got a strong brotherhood. I love the guys, but they got to start acting like that, bro, and they got to put it together. And I know, they might be trying to get used to winning. They caught everybody off guard last year. Just get it together, boys. But I really caught about this Niners situation. I'm the only Niner fan that's going to feel like this probably. But would you guys do this? I would do it in a heartbeat. Say if the Bears came to you, right? They're not taking Caleb one. They take an offensive lineman. If the Bears came and said, we'll give you Fields and the number 9 pick for Brock Purdy, would y'all do it? I'm doing it ASAP.
Fields
and the number 9 pick for Brock Purdy.
If the Bears said,
I don't think the Niners would do it. I think that would be, they would just get, they would get killed. They would get absolutely killed. You cannot have this guy. You cannot fight for this man all season long. From the Niners' perspective, you can't fight for this man all season long. Have him take you to a Super Bowl and then trade him off for Justin Fields in the 9th. I mean, I'm not. That's not my personal opinion. I'm just saying. I would have a meeting about it for sure.
You'd have to have a meeting about it.
I wouldn't do it probably, again, because I just think the court of public opinion might kill you. And if you truly, which the Niners definitely do, feel like Brock Purdy is your quarterback of the future, you're not just going to ship him off for, another roll of the dice.
Line them up. 916-339-1140. This is from TC, one of our P1 callers and listeners.
So great, man. He comes ready to go every single day.
The Bears are offering Justin Fields and the number. They are not. They are not. This is hypothetically. The Bears are offering Justin Fields and the number 9 pick for Brock Purdy. If you are the Niners, do you do it? Line them up. Text line, Sack Chat, phone line. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Kings had their ripped out in Milwaukee, and now they go for revenge.
Forces the shot. It's no good. Rebound. Track down. Malik Monk has it. Races up the floor. Is he going to drive it? He pulls up at the elbow. Circles back out. Steps into a 3. He scores the triple. Game tied at 129.
It's the Kings and Bucks tonight at Golden One Center. Tip-off at 7 on your home of the Kings, Sactown Sports.
sneezing, coughing, stuffy nose, runny nose, post-nasal drip, interrupted sleeping. I was groggy at the end of the day.
Allergies and sinus congestion were making Jana miserable. Then, a friend recommended Navage. Navage provides immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Navage helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
Navage gave me instant relief. I didn't have to wait 30 minutes. I didn't have to wait an hour, 90 minutes. I didn't have to wait a minute. I ran the rinse and I felt better.
Stop suffering from congestion and start breathing and feeling your best again with Navage. Navage.
I've had people ask me how I find relief, and I tell them Navage immediately. This thing is amazing.
Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid.
Right now, Maida Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on new 2024 half-ton Silverado LT Crew Cab 4-wheel drives after rebate. It's a Maida Chevy exclusive.
See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/24.
See all the savings at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
National Ping Club Fitter of the Year, Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is introducing the straightest, most forgiving Ping driver ever with the new Ping G430 Max 10K driver. A fixed back weight, Ping's largest head profile, and a carbon fly wrap crown help G430 Max 10K launch the ball higher with less spin for consistently longer and straighter results. Schedule your fitting and see for yourself at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue to Cap City Freeway, or online at HagenOaks.com.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house, even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found you.
How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got good news. The American Energy Heat and Air $0 HVAC diagnostic has been extended to February 29th. That's right. It expired at the end of January, but want to give you all an opportunity who missed out to get in. It's a $99 value. All right, it's $100, and right now it's free. I don't know how much easier I can pitch that. Normally $100, now $0. Let the American Energy team test your system, your connections, and all the moving parts of that system to make sure it's functioning properly. And you know who's going to be coming to your home? A group of people that have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. A group of folks that have been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. $0 HVAC diagnostic. Normally a $100 value right now at American Energy Heat and Air. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com or call them to make your appointment. 916-520-9990.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
There was a hypothetical offer dropped by one of our callers, TC.
Yes.
We are getting texts. We are getting chats here. The hypothetical offer was Brock Purdy to the Bears, right? The Bears want Brock Purdy, so they ask for Brock Purdy, and in exchange, you get Justin Fields,
who nobody wants,
and the number 9 pick. From the 530, that last caller is out of his mind. From the
TC's the best.
Hey, there's somebody out there that would do it. There's somebody out there that would do it.
It's not me either. I'm not the guy doing it.
Ryan Poles.
From Pike 916, Brock he says, yes, you get a mobile QB, and at the 9, you take the best O-line available or just best available at 9. Brock has proven that he has a hard time in the rain. Love the kid, but I do this in a heartbeat. Brock would then struggle in the winds of Chicago like most QBs do.
His whittle
I'm
hands.
telling you.
I mean,
you would find somebody.
You will
find somebody to do it.
The dude who said he'd quit journalism or whatever. What was that guy's name?
Steven Ruiz.
Yeah, Ruiz. Yeah. Are you guys? We're trying to get him on this show.
We're still trying.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he wasn't. Yeah. Well, they didn't win the.
Yeah.
They didn't win the Super Bowl.
So he was sweating.
He was. He was definitely sweating.
He definitely was sweating.
Yeah.
I wonder how that would have worked. The ringer does he do
way.
it on his own accord?
He wouldn't have done it.
No, he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted it to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Every
Just to
single
see.
article he posts, somebody would have been in the comments or, in the Twitter replies saying like this your last piece ever or something,
Right.
That would have been awesome.
Let me ask this question, and I'm going to try to ask this in the most respectful way possible.
Okay. Always a good pretense.
Okay. We understand what the Niners have said about Brock Purdy.
Uh-huh.
With that being said, how much better would the Bears be with Brock Purdy?
The Bears are pretty bad.
Well, it's different now because coaching has changed. Are you talking about just last season? Or are you talking about going forward?
Like, here's my point. I don't think either side does this. I don't think the Bears do this. I don't think the Bears would do that deal.
I mean,
I know the Niners would.
I know the Niners wouldn't. The Niners couldn't.
Yeah.
The Niners shouldn't. But I don't think the Bears would even offer that.
To be honest, I really don't think Justin Fields plays any factor into this thought process. I think Justin Fields would literally only be a body that would play quarterback.
Like a compensatory.
Yeah, like
you think it's more about the 9?
Sweeten the
yeah,
deal?
absolutely.
The 9,
That's
more
it.
about the 9. I would say, give me one.
That's
I would have
terrible
to,
trade.
Yeah, you would have to take one. There's no way Justin Fields is at this. Again, Justin Fields is very available. Everybody knows Justin Fields is available.
I've heard he's not that available
And teams
right now.
are out here signing Jameis Winston. Vikings out here signing Sam Darnold over diving into Justin Fields. Like, everybody has said, nah, we're good. The Raiders said, nah, we'll take Gardner Minshew and battle him out with Aiden O'Connell. I think everybody, the Falcons, like, that was lined up. You can't have any more lined up than Justin Fields' hometown. You have the video of Justin Fields from his agent saying, like, oh, yeah, heading back home.
He was jumping up and down.
They didn't want him either. They'd rather pay Kirk Cousins, a 36-year-old coming off of an Achilles injury. They'd rather pay that man $45 million than kick the tires on Justin Fields.
Maybe he's not available.
He's very available.
Maybe he's not available.
He's incredibly available. They have the number 1 pick. He's incredibly available. No one has ever been more available. No one wants him. No one wants him.
I don't think the Bears say yes, Chris.
You know what? I don't either. I don't think the Bears say yes.
I think neither team
I think this
wants
trade
that
doesn't
deal.
happen. I agree.
Neither team makes that deal. This is from Brendan Nunez 16 minutes ago.
Oh, that guy.
Getting into some Kings updates. Keegan Murray, who is questionable for tonight's game with a left ankle sprain, getting some post shoot around shots up. If we're going tinfoil hat, if you're doing post shoot around shots, that's good, right?
That's definitely good.
That's got to be good.
Because, like, if you were hurting after practice, you would be like,
or
can't do it.
Or you're trying to convince yourself that you are good for tonight.
No, like, I don't think he would push. Or he knows he's not playing tonight, and so he's getting in that extra work.
No.
Put on the tinfoil hats.
I think this means that
I feel good about it.
But
But
I think Keegan's playing.
we saw De'Aaron do 2 practices, though, and not play. I ultimately, I don't think it means anything, but I think that Keegan, I mean, especially with an ankle, like, and it was just stepped on. It wasn't like, and he checked back in. I just think all the things point to him playing today, but it would not surprise me if they have him miss again. Especially, let's not forget, it is a back-to-back, first game of back-to-back tonight. So maybe there's a chance where, Keegan plays tonight, doesn't play tomorrow, or vice versa. They don't practice or do shoot around on back-to-back. So maybe it's just, hey, he's going to play tomorrow and he's not going to get an opportunity to get his shoot around in tomorrow. So we'll just, I think they have a shoot around. It's just not available to media. They'll just say, hey, you're not going to play tonight, but let's make sure that you're ready for tomorrow.
I'm watching the video right now.
How much is he moving?
He's literally walking to each spot.
And that's not good?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I have no clue, but he's just he's walking to each spot here.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I hope he plays. I mean, the Kings desperately need him, but at the same time, again, he's not really. It depends if Middleton's playing, but they really don't. It's not like Keegan playing would help them out much with Giannis's defense. It's going to be a lot of HB and then, again, probably doubling him anyway. So,
yeah. And, well, you look at it now and who you put Davion and Keon on Dame.
Yes, right. And then
and De'Aaron,
Pat Connaughton. Yeah. I mean, they obviously could use Keegan, absolutely, especially even if it's just his defense. They desperately need it, but tomorrow's matchup makes a lot more sense putting him on LeBron, even though they had HB on Bron a lot more, but just the Lakers in general have a bit more forward depth. So I think if anything, they would want him to play tomorrow in a game where if they lose, tomorrow's game is really, really important. We're of course not there yet, but you said it yesterday. If the Kings lose tonight and tomorrow, the Lakers then leapfrog them, with the Lakers being that divisional opponent and having that game pretty much be worth 2 and having it being on the second night of a back-to-back here. I just feel like the Kings would be doing themselves more favors to have at least one fresh body for that Laker game. And again, having it have that heightened importance. I just think I would rather have Keegan play in that second night than have him play tonight.
And this is what's so frustrating about the games that the Kings have lost that they had no business losing.
That's right.
Because it's not as if the Kings have been dealing with all these injuries. We're sitting here trying to convince ourselves that Keegan Murray's going to play when he's missed, 4 games all season?
All year, yeah.
That's pretty lucky.
Yes, very lucky.
But because you didn't take care of business,
that's right.
You're gonna have to force these things the way you probably didn't want to, because you can't afford to lose these games.
Well, and that's what we said was so scary in general too, was that they were healthy. They were healthy and not playing up to expectations when teams like Phoenix were incredibly unhealthy. Everybody else was incredibly unhealthy, and that was part of the reason why they weren't playing well.
Right.
The Kings were healthy, just weren't playing well. And now we see, Keegan starting to pick up some injuries. I think De'Aaron is still kind of dealing with some things here and there. So, yeah, I mean, now the season, the wear and tear of the season really starts to, compile and snowball. And, you have a back-to-back here. I think they have another one in a week or two. So, yeah, I mean, this is the time where your body's tested and guys start to miss. I mean, Paul George, Kawhi, there's 4 guys, Gobert and Ant are all questionable tonight in that Clippers T-Wolves game. It's the time of the year where, you got to rely on everybody on your team. And, you're probably going to pick up some injuries down the stretch here.
Yeah, and Kyrie was another guy for the Mavericks who was in and out a lot, and it was Luka playing with just a bunch of random dudes. So now the Mavericks are trying to find their stride. And the Lakers have really been the only other team. And, well, to be fair, I just saw that Gabe Vincent is just now going to start back basketball activities.
Actually,
Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, those are 2 dudes that you don't think of when you think of these heavy hitters.
Yeah.
But Gabe Vincent was supposed to be big. I mean, they essentially wanted to make D'Lo expendable.
Yes, very much
right?
so.
And Vanderbilt, that he's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be ready for tomorrow, but at some point they might figure it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, it's a scary situation that the Kings have found themselves in, but at the same time, they've won big game. They won that Minnesota game earlier in the year in November without Keegan. So even if Keegan doesn't go, hey man, no one feels bad for you.
No, nobody feels bad for you.
You got to pick it up.
And to be fair, that's what they've been saying, and now you better show up.
Yep,
because they don't know what to say after these bad losses. So now the narrative is, well, we show up against good teams. Okay.
You got a couple of them.
You got a couple of them. You got one tonight.
Yep.
So if that's your thing, and we haven't been showing up against bad teams, but we show up when the lights are bright. Okay. We'll see tonight.
Yep.
We'll see tonight. When we return, we are getting into some of the other deals and the departures from the Niners in NFL free agency. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has a selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
Progressive asks, what do a late-night pizza craving,
Pizza place. Can I get one large pepperoni pizza?
a newly licensed team delivery driver, a guaranteed delivery time or its free offer, and your front fence have in common?
Uh-oh.
That's my fence.
They can turn your stomach upside down in under 30 minutes.
I'm still getting a tip, right?
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Don't you love an extra $100 in your pocket? Have a TurboTax expert file your taxes for you by March 31st to get $100 back instantly. Because no matter what moves you made last year, TurboTax makes them count. That means getting $100 back and 100% accurate taxes, only from Intuit TurboTax. Must file by 3/31. Credit only applicable to federal filing fees with TurboTax full service. Offer can be modified or terminated at any time.
Ball forward, take your base. The only thing worse than a pitcher running out of gas on the mound is your old phone running out of storage for your photos in the stands.
Goodbye, home run.
Switch to Verizon and get a great deal on a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage for all the ballpark pics you want. Just trade in your iPhone, any model, in any condition, so you'll feel like you're winning, even when your team's not. Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a great deal on iPhone 15 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate and get iPad and Apple Watch SE with eligible service plan, only on Verizon.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function
incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Get in on the action at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. With over 80 table games, more than 2,100 slot machines, and a thrilling high-limit room, you'll enjoy a casino experience on a whole new level. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sactown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Some Niners departures. People are happy about some of them. Some fans are not happy about others. I think the big win on the day, or one of the biggest wins after what we saw him do in the Super Bowl and almost found himself in the Super Bowl MVP conversation, the Niners place a second-round tender on Javon Jennings, who's set to be a restricted free agent. Second-round tender, the offer is $4.89 million. Jennings can negotiate with other teams, but the Niners own a right of his first refusal. If Jennings departs for more money elsewhere, the Niners will receive a second-round pick. So it feels like, as much as other teams may like Javon Jennings, they're probably not going to go through with that.
Yeah, probably not. I wouldn't imagine. And it even says that the Niners as well could still extend Javon Jennings, which I guess John Lynch had said at the Combine that was their plan. But, of course, they're going to kind of let Javon test the market, see if anyone's going to throw him a ton. And if nobody offers him anything substantial, I'm sure it definitely helps John Lynch in his negotiation. So we'll see how that goes. But it definitely seems like Javon Jennings is probably going to stay. Yes. And even if he doesn't, you get a nice little parting gift with him. I think a second round tender for a guy like Javon Jennings, like that's no disrespect to Javon Jennings at all, but like you can probably find, if you were to use that second round pick, you could definitely find somebody who gives you hopefully even more production than what Javon Jennings does. But he's obviously incredibly key and was terrific last year in the playoffs. And he was my Super Bowl MVP, that's for sure.
Yeah, also say goodbye to Javon Kinlaw and Isaiah Oliver, who both signed one-year deals with the New York Jets. That Robert Saleh connection still going strong there. I know Javon Kinlaw was someone, fans can be so fascinating because I know Kinlaw was a guy who dealt with some injuries, but then when you finally see him go, I don't think there was a lot of that with Isaiah Oliver, but with Javon Kinlaw, there was a lot of, he is gone. Okay. And Clelin Ferrell, another guy who I think fans have to be okay with seeing him gone. Yeah. But now that he is gone, I think Niners fans are getting a little impatient here as we continue to refresh social media and see who gets signed where. And Charlie Woerner, which I think this happened during our show yesterday, signs a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons to help out. Yeah.
Greg Odom too, or George Odom.
George Odom. Yes.
Yeah. With the Niners special teams.
That happened at the beginning of our show. Yeah.
You mentioned the Saleh connection, Jets, Kinlaw and Isaiah Oliver. What's weird, Isaiah Oliver only played for the Niners last year.
That's right.
So I don't, Saleh was not the defensive coordinator for the Niners last year is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I still think there are a lot of relationships, even if there wasn't, hey, I didn't actually play. And, all the agents and everybody that knows a lot of people, maybe it's not connected at all, but I think it probably has something to do with it, especially because Niners fans are probably surprised that Isaiah Oliver has a job. A lot of Niners fans did not like Isaiah Oliver and didn't feel like he did the best job for them. And last but not least, and I've been hiding this one, Chris, but can't hide it anymore, Sam Darnold signs a 1-year deal for $10 million with Minnesota and could possibly compete with Nick Mullins for the starting job after now Kirk Cousins is gone. You could still draft the guy and now you're happy with what the Vikings have done.
Yes, yeah, they had a great day yesterday. Sam Darnold was not the highlight of it for sure. Definitely not my highlight, but even then it makes sense. I don't understand why everyone is up in arms though about it. Like, you look at Marcus Mariota just signed a 1 year, like $7 million deal. Jameis signs an $8 million deal. Jacoby Brissett signs an $8 million deal, but Sam Darnold signs one and all of a sudden, what are the Vikings doing? Oh my gosh, he's going to start. Well, no, like I think the Vikings plan is to bring Sam Darnold in as your bridge quarterback. And I would be shocked at this point if the Vikings don't draft a quarterback in the first round. There was reports at the Combine. J.J. McCarthy loved his meeting with the Vikings. Jaden Daniels also had great things to say. Those are the two guys that I've seen connected most to the Vikings. I would definitely prefer Jaden Daniels over J.J. McCarthy.
Is he who you want the most?
No, I want Caleb Williams or Drake May.
Okay, what about like Bo Nix?
No,
not at all.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
His pro day's going on right now.
He can have he could be like a late day 2 thing, but not as Bo Nix, the potential starting quarterback of the future.
What about Michael Penix?
I don't think so. That's a little bit more of a risk. Maybe if you have like if you have like a Baker Mayfield as your quarterback, maybe that makes a little bit more sense.
As the bridge?
Just like a guy that you're comfortable with if it doesn't pan out, but also if it does pan out, you wouldn't feel terrible about benching him, though Baker Mayfield making $30 million makes that a little bit tougher of a decision. But I ultimately think that Sam is probably going to start. I would put the over-under at 7 games that he would start for the Vikings next year. I think it'll probably be a situation where, they'll draft J.J. McCarthy or whoever in the first round, and then Sam Darnold will play for those couple weeks. And then when they feel like J.J. is ready, or whoever it is that's their quarterback is ready, they'll probably throw them out there. But I just have a tough time believing that the Vikings, who are currently negotiating with Justin Jefferson, are going to tell him, hey, it'll all be fine. We got you Sam Darnold, dude.
I mean,
what are you concerned about?
The memes have been insane.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
With
People
Justin Jefferson just sprinting away. I will say this. I watched a decent amount of college football, right? I mean, maybe be real with you, 3-4 games from the Wolverines and Michigan. I don't get the JJ McCarthy thing, but maybe I'm missing something.
This is absolutely a Brock Purdy exists, and so we think that we can find a next Brock Purdy, because with JJ McCarthy, everything that I've heard about his scouting report is essentially he's a winner at Michigan. He's got some stuff to him, kind of a jack of all trades, master of none a bit, where, you see a lot of intangibles, you see a lot of things that you could work with. And if you think you can mold him into something, then he's a very coachable guy, but he's not going to wow. You put on the tape and you put him next to Drake May, or you put him next to Caleb Williams, put him next to Jaden Daniels film. It's not going to look the same. It's going to look like, okay, this guy is more practical. He's more running an actual offense, or not an actual offense, but like he is more of a system quarterback. And those guys are the system. And I think that's the big difference is, you're banking really big upside with those guys. And I think JJ McCarthy, again, you're just kind of hoping for a game manager. Like I think the best
maybe
case,
not the highest ceiling.
Not the highest ceiling for sure. But the problem is the floor isn't that high either. Like there's a pretty low floor. It feels, Alex Smith was obviously a first pick in the draft, but it feels like the hope is high-end Alex Smith and then low-end pick your favorite bust. Like it could be really bad.
Yeah, and obviously he's not going to be one of the, first 3 guys? Maybe
3 guys
4.
For sure, yeah.
3
I think
guys.
I saw that Jaden Daniels is actually moved to the favorite to be the second quarterback taken right now.
So. There are a lot of people that are high on Jaden Daniels. It's always funny to me, and you look at his measurables. He does. Why is nobody worried about him getting hit?
Skinny.
Why is nobody worried about him getting hit? But everybody else, it's Bryce Young, and maybe he's probably bigger than Bryce Young. Yeah. But at the same, Bryce Young, you couldn't even run QB sneaks with him. So we get all that, but it's just funny how you hear about that with certain players, and certain players you do not. Back to Kings talk when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And here's Purdy going to throw one deep, wide for Debo. Made the catch on the back shoulder. Touchdown! San Francisco!
And a back shoulder banger for Debo Samuel.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Don't miss Power Torque Tools DIY days now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Power Torque hand tools come with a lifetime guarantee. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
My wife and I both, we ended up mildly sick for a few months, and the nasal congestion was probably the worst part. I had like a post-nasal drip, just super congested all the time. We were taking everything we possibly could, but nothing really worked.
Kyrie was miserable until a friend recommended Navage. Navage offers immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Don't live in misery this cold season. Use Navage so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
The biggest thing Navage has done has completely cleaned out my nasal passages. It was from the first use. I was able to just clear out anything that was stopping me from breathing correctly. Navage helps me clear the way, literally clear the way for me to operate better in the rest of my life.
Experience the Navage difference yourself. Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house, even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found you.
How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, we'll use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Ball forward, take your base. The only thing worse than a pitcher running out of gas on the mound is your old phone running out of storage for your photos in the stands.
Goodbye, home run!
Switch to Verizon and get a great deal on a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage for all the ballpark pics you want. Just trade in your iPhone, any model, in any condition, so you'll feel like you're winning, even when your team's not. Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a great deal on iPhone 15 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate and get iPad and Apple Watch SE with eligible service plan. Only on Verizon.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories. KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown.
We are 1 hour away from your chance to see Hassan Minhaj. Live Nation has teamed up with Sactown Sports for your chance to see local legend Hassan Minhaj at the Safe Credit Union Performing Arts Center from beautiful downtown Sacramento, March 29th. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline at 1 p.m. and we will give you a chance to win those tickets.
What classifies somebody as a local legend? I would definitely say Hassan Minhaj is a local legend, but I would like that in my Twitter bio at some point.
Is
Dave a local legend?
That's actually an interesting question.
I mean, his name has Carmichael in it.
Good point.
That's a start.
But the question is legend versus your level of fame, right? Because you can like a local legend doesn't actually have to be famous,
right? It just kind of
You're
implies
a local
that you
legend.
did something of
famous locally.
pretty significant. No, I mean Dave, I would say is probably a local legend.
I would say
the efforts to save the Kings for sure.
Wouldn't you argue that Dave is more of a local legend than Hassan Minhaj?
I would,
depending
depending
on your definition of local legend.
Local legend, right? Yeah, probably.
Make sure he doesn't hear you.
Definitely make sure he doesn't hear. He cannot hear.
This is based on your definition of local legend.
Yeah.
Huh.
He probably. I mean, directly, Dave has probably done more for the city of Sacramento than Hassan Minhaj just via talking about Sacramento on
or just
national
being
television.
from Sacramento.
Yeah,
I believe LeVar Burton, Mr. Reading Rainbow,
Yes,
Mr.
he's got a part.
Jordy LaForge,
like Arik Armstead. Maybe if they, he could have won the Super Bowl. Maybe
he's a
in
local
the conversation
legend. To come out of Sacramento and then play that many years in the NFL, that's local legend status for sure.
Yeah, like if your name's on the high school, you're probably like Dusty Baker was at my high school.
Dusty for
and
sure.
Matt Barnes. I mean, I don't know. Is it local legend? Yeah.
Like I also,
Sacramento's also not like pumping out prospects like crazy. So it is like, Arik Armstead, Shaq Thompson, Matt Barnes is up on that list for sure. Like, I think if you come out of this area, like I think that's honestly big enough.
I think it's semantics. He's a local legend. He was a local legend. Because Arik Armstead, I would say he was a local legend.
Well, I think
because he's now big time.
When he's like 50 years old, I'm sure he'll be living in the Sac area probably, and like he'll still be. I'm sure people will get him to come to events and stuff like local
okay,
things.
I'm with that.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
with
that's kind of local legend.
I also
status.
think about Boobie Miles, who never made it, but he was
talking about the fictional character Boobie Miles.
it was based on a true story.
Him and Pooh Jetter were hanging out.
Boobie Miles, local legend, never made it. Never made
That's
it.
true. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. You're saying like only specifically you popped on the local level. You didn't.
Everybody
pop on the
locally
national
knows
level.
you. Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But I think they're both versions of local legend.
Yes, absolutely.
Who else? Who else is a Sacramento local
I'm
legend?
trying to
that I
think.
don't know
Yeah,
Is LeBron a local legend?
absolutely not.
Oh, for Cleveland?
Oh, for Cleveland. I thought you meant for here.
Oh no,
yeah,
God no.
absolutely. Absolutely, he's a
okay.
Cleveland
Yeah.
legend. What
All
are we
right. I'm
talking
just because like Alan was talking about this famous. Does that
I
overpower?
think being famous definitely classifies you as a local. Like Greta Gerwig is a Sacramento legend. Like she's a local legend. Like the ability to shine on the national stage in a market that is predominantly not showcased on the national stage definitely earns you legendary status.
At
least here.
Barry Bonds and Tom Brady. Are they local legends?
Not
they're both
Sacramento.
No, but they're both from the Bay Area.
I would absolutely say so. But I would say that it's harder to become a Bay Area local legend because of the A, the amount of people it produces, and B, just the sheer size of it.
Yeah, but you guys got Folsom. You guys got all these cities.
Oh, we count them all. We count them all.
That's the Bay Area.
But it's weird with sports because you associate somebody with
a different
town.
That's a good point.
So
Sure.
Tom
That's
Brady,
interesting.
I don't think Tom Brady's a local legend in the Bay Area. Back to my Arik Armstead doing signings at 50 years old. Like, Brady's not going to be doing stuff in the
So
Bay
he was
Area.
too big now.
No, but Shaq Thompson is a local legend because he was so good
Lance
here
Briggs.
in Sacramento. Lance Briggs, exactly. Like, they're local legends because of what they did.
Does
Those are high school legends.
Does Elk Grove just breed all defensive all-stars, superstars? Is that what
Sure.
they do?
Why not? Bill Cartwright, too.
Crazy.
Elk Grove High.
Yeah, but like
I'm sure the text line and YouTube chat's probably flooded with people we're forgetting about.
Amid Rock on the Sac Chat, E40 is a Vallejo legend.
Yes. See, and like Tom Brady is a local legend for whatever town he's specifically from. Absolutely. You think that town doesn't have a sign that says home place of Tom, birthplace of Tom Brady?
I have a similar one.
Dustin Pedroia, Woodland. I don't know if that counts as Sacramento. Sorry, Nick.
I'm from Chico. Aaron Rodgers, Chico, like he went to
Absolutely.
so he went to Butte College there, which is the JUCO, Allen, and then he transferred. But they had a sign when you drove into Chico that for a brief time that said "Home of Aaron Rodgers" or whatever.
I would have.
He's like, "Can we just take that down?" Because it was getting out of control. Like people thought he would be there. This was like peak Rodgers.
You gotta get the key to the city.
Yeah,
you have the key to the city.
It's a pretty high mark.
It is a high mark.
It's a high mark.
You know who got the key to the city? Marcus Morris.
Marcus Morris, that's right.
Congrats.
There you go.
Marcus.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Here you go. You have Dwayne Baker talking about Dusty Baker and Matt Barnes.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah. I just think there are levels of this. I think that there are guys that are, I think who said it earlier? Legends locally. And then there are local legends.
I don't think so. I think that's overcomplicating it way too much.
Well, that's what I do.
I just think that it's either you made it to you passed a certain threshold and you have a certain level of notoriety locally. I think that's about as big as it can.
Who's the biggest one in Sac? Did we decide?
At this moment in time, probably Greta Gerwig.
Huh.
Coming
off Barbie.
Coming off of Barbie, and actually she made a movie about Sacramento. It's hard to have showcase Sacramento in a more prominent light than what she's done.
From the 209, the difference between a local legend and legend from the area. I think we're on to something here.
Interesting. Stockton, though,
Sure.
that's just that they only have the Diaz brothers, so they're
They got Kevin John too. Shout out our guy Kevin John.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I didn't know Kevin John was from Stockton.
Yeah. Proudly.
That's fantastic.
Proudly. I
think the latter is,
I understand
that's
what you're
the Tom
saying.
Brady. That's
It just
the Tom Brady to me.
But you're still all I don't know.
So they're all local legends.
It's like the
You
Venn
just want them
diagram.
all-
It's just like it's tough to
Yes.
figure out. There's one side, and then a middle. Like I don't know.
Did you just say Kevin
local
John is the Tom Brady of Stockton?
So they're all local legends.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, they're all local legends.
Okay.
Yeah, they are all local legends.
Keep sending
and
them in.
There are legends just of the
There's
area,
love.
for sure.
What local legends are we forgetting about?
Kevin
in the
Johnson, for
Sacramento.
sure. He's built
area?
up Broadway a lot.
Arnold Schwarzenegger
No, definitely not.
No.
Definitely not him.
spent some time here.
He definitely spent some time here for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, you have Dwayne talking
Appreciate
about
the
Kevin
furloughs.
Johnson as well.
Yeah, for sure. KJ, I mean, KJ's done a lot of, because that's also, you talk about levels. There's like actual tangible, I improved the city level. And that's where Kevin Johnson's at, where, he obviously had a very prominent part in saving the Kings. And then
a whole documentary,
that
you can watch now.
Yeah, well, it's available.
Yeah.
But also KJ, you go down Broadway right now and you got fixins, you have that entire development that really was, if I'm not mistaken, spearheaded from Kevin Johnson. And he's really somebody who, if you're talking about things that you can actually see improvement within the city, it's tough to get bigger than KJ.
Nate, the text line
He's
is
a tiger.
coming down your road on the Stockton comment. You gotta be careful out here, Nate.
I didn't think I was saying anything mean.
No, Brandon Cooks and Doug Martin.
Ooh,
both
the
from
muscle
Stockton.
hamster. I forgot about the muscle hamster.
Brandon
That's
Cooks
right.
is from Stockton.
So you better watch
I
out,
think
Nate.
Chelsea Gray might be from Stockton too, if I'm
Really?
not mistaken. And I think that's why she's been on the Kings broadcast. I can check real quick, but if I'm not mistaken, she's from the area as well.
Joe just hit me with two big ones. Our guy
She's from
Joe
Hayward,
DeRose.
actually.
Okay.
Timothy Oliphant, correct, and Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner.
Renner's on the text
Jets,
line. Yeah,
or I almost
from
said
Modesto.
jet ski survivor.
From Modesto. But now, how far are we gonna go here?
Yeah, I can't answer that one. That's
You can go as far as you want.
Right.
Now we're just saying local legends. Doesn't have to be whether you identify with Sacramento or wherever. We'll keep them coming. We'll keep reading them off. Always like to hear about local
Molly
legends.
Ringwald, someone put on there.
There you go.
I know that.
There you go. We have an update or a little bit of an update from Brendan Nunez as we were talking in between the breaks as far as whether or not the players do availability before games. Keegan Murray is, we'll try to get the full sound for you, but basically Keegan Murray denied the idea that his defensive responsibilities has been affecting his offense. I'm not a guy that's excuse oriented, he said. I like a lot of Keegan's quotes. I really do. He doesn't talk all the time.
He sure doesn't.
But we found out that he talked a lot during that, it seems like eons ago, that players only meeting. But you might have something here with Keegan as far as a leader. And no, he's not going to be the Malik Monk type rah, but it feels like Keegan maybe has some underrated leadership.
Maybe. I mean, I don't right now. I mean, I still view him as the kid who's really quiet, but you're right. Like maybe he's finding his voice. And you know what they say about Steph, but also just in general about, like sometimes the quiet leaders are the best kind because they're not going to speak up all the time, but when they do speak, it speaks volumes. And
still waters run deep.
That's right. And it's very, very true. And I think you're right in pointing out that team meeting, like if Keegan takes that opportunity to kind of voice his distaste with what's going on, I can't imagine people were just tuning him out. Like when Keegan Murray talks, everybody is like, oh my God, like he must really feel passionately about this because you can't get the kid to talk about really anything in great detail. And I could definitely imagine his teammates would probably feel the same way, that if Keegan's feeling this way, then we must if the nicest guy we know is yelling at us and telling us we're not bringing enough effort, well, maybe we really aren't, because again, he's not somebody who's going to look to criticize. And if he's being critical, well, then there's probably something really wrong. So I do agree that maybe he is just kind of finding his footing a bit, but I think I'm just uncomfortable hearing Keegan Murray leader. It's just not something that I would have thought is for his destiny. No, for sure. I'm not saying you're wrong either.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared to hear Keegan Murray leader.
Well, I think where this is headed is it's because you could not see him leapfrogging De'Aaron
in terms of leadership.
Yes.
For sure.
And that happening is, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing as long as you have somebody,
for sure.
But how do you feel about that? When we return, we talk about the keys to the game. We also going to continue
Brie Larson
to run down this list. Brie Larson making the list. Yeah. Jessica Chastain making the list. George Lucas is from Stockton.
What?
We're just believing everybody.
I know.
All right?
Yeah, wait. We don't
have time to fact check this. I did fact check.
LeBron James.
The 209 Gabe Vincent is also from Stockton.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
Nate is just taking L's.
A lot of L's.
Today.
A lot of L's.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're looking at clouds, sunshine, and the occasional shower possible this afternoon. Temperatures will top out in the mid-60s. Expect clearing overnight tonight and dropping down to the low 40s overnight. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia during their spring event and save big on your favorite models. You can even buy with zero down on approval of credit. Shop your trusted Kia dealership for over 25 years and tell them DC sent you. FolsomLakeKia.com.
And paid for by Interactive Impact. Attention business owners, are you tired of those hefty credit card fees cutting into your profits? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Thanks to the Durbin Amendment, there's now a game-changing solution to eliminate those pesky credit and debit card fees. Imagine processing unlimited transactions for as low as $99 a month. Our patented software gives your customers 2 price points based on how they pay. Full or credit card price. It's that simple. And here's the best part. You can enjoy 24/7 support, next day funding, a virtual terminal, online gateway, and ACH processing. Our patented solution is available in all 50 states, making it the go-to choice for thousands of businesses looking to eliminate processing fees for good. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level and say goodbye to credit card fees, call 800-949-5473 now. That's 800-949-5473. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call 800-949-5473 and make the change today. That's 800-949-5473. Again, 800-949-5473.
$916 is saying Tom Hanks. I think Tom Hanks from the Bay.
Tom Hanks went to Sac State.
He went to Sac State.
Which does not count. You do not get to go to Sac State and say Sacramento.
No, Tom Hanks is from my neck of the woods. Yeah. He's from the Bay Area.
What about people try and claim Tom Hanks here, and I don't think that it's nice that he decided to choose Sacramento to go to college, but I don't think that justifies him.
That's like if Philly tried to claim me.
Yes.
When
it's just not the case.
Sam Elliott, the banquet beer, that guy from the commercial, the deep voice guy, the cowboy.
He's
a Sacramento guy.
Okay,
great.
Yeah,
I didn't know. Yeah, do you have a list here that you're firing?
George Lucas is in fact from Modesto. Didn't know that.
George Lucas is okay. So we're seeing Stockton, Modesto. We get it from the area. Keep them coming. All the names. Now this is quite a mouthful. And I just saw this, and I'm reacting to it here with you, Chris. Ted Cruz is leading a roundtable to discuss the NIL, student athletes' name, image, and likeness. Sitting next to Ted Cruz, giving his piece, you could probably guess, but I'm going to tell you. No. Nick Saban. So Nick Saban, in part, it's all on YouTube. Nick Saban says, all the things I believed in for all these years, 50 years of coaching, no longer exists in college athletics.
Is that actually true?
No, it's not. Yeah, everything you believed in as far as being able to recruit players because you had things that other schools and universities did not have.
Or just, paying players under the table instead of out front in public. Like that's, yes, is college football or college sports or athletics in general different than it was in the past? Yeah, for sure. But, I don't know. I think that's a bit of, get off my lawn type stuff and, whatever. I don't love that. It's very college football, or is that for college football specifically, or it's just college athletics with the NIL?
He's saying college athletics, but he's obviously his purview is football.
It's just trash. I don't know.
I don't really like it. I actually got dragged a little bit when Saban retired, and I said he's running from the grind, and some people did not like that I said that, but he's 70, he's 72, he's this, he's that.
For sure.
Look, man, he had a system and he built it himself.
Yeah.
But after he built that system, it was just a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you bring in 18 different, like Josh Jacobs went to Alabama. We get 10 snaps the whole time he's at Alabama.
Right.
He got drafted. People were saying, we got a fresh running back.
About how fresh he is.
Yeah, we got a fresh running back. because Saban is bringing in 5, 10 star recruits, and for him to be the way he feels about the NIL, I do not think that it has changed. I don't think it's perfect, and I don't think it's necessarily changed as far as some teams having a better go of it or a better option than others. But at the end of the day, you operated in a certain space for years and years and years, and nobody could touch you. Now, at least some other, because of name and likeness, now at least a kid may choose to stay at home because of the name and likeness instead of going to an Alabama or somewhere like that, just because they're getting a little something. They can make more decisions for themselves. So I don't like what Nick Saban has to say about the NIL. I don't like what most of these coaches have to say about the NIL, because they're saying that because they don't like losing power. And as soon as they have lost power, it is they just said, I can't do this anymore, right? And all they do is complain about it, even though they still use it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a screwed system. And yeah, I mean, I think that, these guys are, they just, it's, I don't really know what to say about it. Like it's a situation where these guys have been very comfortable with how the system is run, and they figured out the loopholes to make it work in their favor. And to your point of him running from the grind, it felt like once things kind of all became even and people understood, not only, guys like Dion, but Kirby Smart figured out how to play the game better than Nick Saban. I mean, it feels like they just didn't like that. They liked it more when they could monopolize everything. And, Nick Saban was your typical monopoly. He wanted things to stay the way it was because everything filtered through him. And then once everybody else started to get a piece of the pie or take some things from him and adapt it to their own style, all of a sudden the system's corrupt and this is wrong and this is what's wrong with college football. But the way I was doing that was the most pure way. That was the most pure way.
As he takes his private jet anywhere he wants to go.
These kids are starving at school.
Give me a break, man. Give me a break. Look, maybe you can't deny that it's changed everything, but I'm just not going to say that it changed everything in a negative way.
Sure.
Right? So there it is. That just popped up and it is making the rounds and it's only the beginning. And what is, look, the cat's out of the bag now. So what is the other option? You got to pay these guys. You got to pay these guys one way or the other, because just like they said back in the day, what a great business model. You make billions and you don't have to pay the employees. What a crazy business model.
Yeah.
Getting back to the keys to the game for the Kings tonight. I mean, number one is if you have to choose between Damian Lillard, the playmaker, and Damian Lillard, the scorer,
yes,
at least make him choose one.
That's right.
Do not let him leave the game with
make him play
35 to 40 points and 9 assists. That can't happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I mean, get the ball out of Dame's hands and, get the ball out of Giannis's hands. It's a lot easier said than done, but we've seen Dame kill. He is almost the OG Kings killer. Dame for his entire career has just destroyed the Kings, and that buzzer beater the other day, or a couple months ago at this point, was just the cherry on top of it. And the Kings have to do a better job of really just neutralizing his scoring, even if you have to assume he's going to get 25 points or so. De'Aaron's got to be on his A game. He's got to try and match Dame offensively, because let's also face the reality of the situation with Dame. He's a terrible defender, terrible defender. And De'Aaron's got to just attack. They don't have Drew Holiday anymore. They have Pat Connaughton as their number two, or as their two guard. There's no reason why De'Aaron Fox should not just absolutely cook tonight. And I hope he takes it to Dame, man. Like those guys have been playing really well. I mentioned the stat earlier of Milwaukee holding teams below 100 points. The Kings have to get their offense going. After watching how terribly they shot the other day against Houston, you cannot have back-to-back games of just bricking it up, especially at this point in the season.
No, and a little precursor to or preview to our prop talk once again, word on the street is De'Aaron Fox is going off tonight. That's the word on the street.
Streets is talking.
Okay, so do with that what you will. When we return, Chris had a great poll that really puts what the Kings are doing into perspective from a dollar amount. You're not going to want to miss this. Stiles and Watkins,
Hey,
Sactown Sports.
The Kings had their hearts ripped out in Milwaukee, and now they go for revenge.
Forces the shot. It's no good. Rebound. Track down. Malik Monk has it. Races up the floor. Is he going to drive it? He pulls up at the elbow. Circles back out. Steps into a three. He scores the triple. Game tied at 1:29.
It's the Kings and Bucks tonight at Golden One Center. Tip-off at 7 on your home of the Kings, Sactown Sports.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BC. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Fidium Fiber Internet has put together a heck of a lineup. It's 100% fiber internet. You get a dedicated connection and lightning-fast upload and download speeds up to 2 gigs. Plans start at just $25 a month, so everyone can join in the action.
Right now, Meta Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on new 2024 half-ton Silverado LT Crew Cab 4-wheel drives after rebate. It's a Meta Chevy exclusive.
See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/24.
See all the savings at MetaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by California Army National Guard, Major Wood Home Furnishings, and RVs of Sacramento.
When it's chilly cold at night, don't just add another blanket. Add a new furnace system instead. Now for as low as $5,999 with 0% interest and no payments for 18 months. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Hey guys, do you know your T-level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house, even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found you. How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
30 minutes away from your chance to see Hassan Minhaj, local legend. Safe Credit Union Performing Arts Center from beautiful downtown Sacramento, March 29th. That is in 30 minutes. Nate will pick a caller. Nate will pick a number caller. 916-339-1140. Still seeing some names come through. Pat Morita.
Sure.
Mr. Miyagi. West Sacramento.
There you go. Yeah. I remember he was a really big Monarchs fan. He used to be at I remember as a kid, I would see him at Monarchs games all the time. I think he passed away, unfortunately.
Yes.
I think
he's no longer with
maybe the definition of Sacramento legend would be Jerry Reynolds.
See, but that's also interesting. Jerry Reynolds definitely not from here.
Yeah, but like
settled here for long enough.
Right. Is Chris Webber?
We were just talking about this with Jason Ross. Like Jason's from LA, but
that's right.
That man is Sacramento.
That's right.
He's
you probably just informed like a good handful of people. People are always shocked when I tell them like, yeah, Jason Ross isn't from here.
That's why he's always wearing the LA UCLA
right,
sweater.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't talk to him when he wears that. It's NorCal up here, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're diehard. I don't care about that war. But I don't. Whatever. This is another tangent. I don't know if we need another one of these.
Summer content, but shout out NorCal. Yes. And another thing that people may be surprised about is where the Kings fall in terms of the money that they've spent compared to where they are at. So, Chris, why don't you take it away? You found this, and it's some great information here. And I really think it might make people feel a little bit better about the Kings situation.
I think so. It made me feel better, but it also raises a lot of questions that I think are really big picture questions that need to be asked. And shout out, this is a very rare shout out here, but I was scrolling through Reddit and found this on Reddit actually. So I have to shout out Reddit. This is the most Reddit name ever. Shout out Lizard Chaser on Reddit who had these fantastic numbers. And I frame this as, ladies and gentlemen, does Sacramento need to be willing to pay a king's ransom to play in the Game of Thrones?
Wow.
Yes.
Done.
I was really proud of that one. Spent at least 3 minutes trying to figure that one out. Piece that word soup together. And this is where it comes from. As you can tell, king's ransom meaning money. And yes, money. As we know, the NBA does have like a salary cap, but teams are able to go over that if they're willing to pay luxury tax, which we'll get into some teams that are paying ridiculous luxury tax in a second here. But just to frame this as the Kings right now are in the 7th spot in the Western Conference. The Sacramento Kings right now, their total salaries of their team is up to just under $150 million, $149,993. Or I'm sorry, is that no? Yeah, yeah. So they're right under 150. They are, like I said, in 7th right now in the Western Conference. They have the 23rd highest payroll in the NBA, which is, or 7th lowest, as some might say. Oklahoma City, who is the 1 seed right now, is 21st in the NBA, paying 160. Minnesota is 3rd highest in the NBA, paying upwards of 197. Denver is 8th in the NBA at 185. LA Clippers are 2nd in the NBA with Paul George, Kawhi, Harden, Russ, everybody that they're paying. They're paying $202 million, and the Pelicans are 12th in the NBA at 175. The Phoenix Suns are 4th in the NBA at 194. Again, the Kings are in 7th place right now in the Western Conference and are only paying, or I shouldn't say only, they're paying $150 million, 23rd in the NBA. The difference is OKC and the Kings are the two standouts, the only two that aren't in the top 15 or the top half of salaries. OKC isn't paying Chet Holmgren right now, isn't paying Jalen Williams, and I don't think they're yet paying Josh Giddey. So they're still early in their salary, and they're going to have to pay those guys at some point. The Kings, the difference there is the Kings are already paying De'Aaron Fox max contract. Domantas Sabonis last year makes an elevated salary. He's up to $30 million a year. Harrison Barnes makes $18 million. Kevin Huerter makes $15 million. So these guys are actually spending money on actual NBA veteran players, where OKC just has a collection of rookie contracts and guys who are on their second contract. So essentially, the teams ahead of Sac are at a minimum of $25 million more, and 4 of them are near $50 million in terms of a cap advantage. This is where things get crazy. The luxury tax, like I mentioned earlier, the luxury tax on the Clippers, just the luxury tax, not the actual salaries they're paying, but the tax that they are paying because they are paying so much, is over 2/3 of the Kings' entire salary. The Clippers are paying $113 million just in luxury tax. Shout out Steve Ballmer. Shout out Microsoft for that money. But the Warriors, as we know, they lead the NBA in salary at $224 million. Of course, they're sitting at 10th place, so can't imagine that feels really good.
No.
They pay a luxury tax of $176 million, which, yes, is about $30 million more than the Kings' entire salary. So that presents the question you asked up top. Looking at it from that perspective, if this is a pay-to-play game, which nobody claims it is, but I think looking at these numbers doesn't hurt.
Right.
Should we actually feel kind of good about the situation that the Kings are in terms of, you could argue they're pretty much maximizing what their true salary value is. To be 7th and competing with teams like LA, the Lakers, I didn't list them. I don't even know what their salary is. It wasn't listed, but I'd imagine it's a lot closer to the Clippers than it is to the Kings.
Yes.
And Dallas as well. Like I think it's actually kind of impressive that the Kings have been able to fight and scrap their way to real contention when in reality, you look at salary-wise, they're pretty much a whole contract, like a big player contract away from reaching some of those other teams that they're competing with.
Yeah. Right here, I guess you could even say that the Thunder are the Brock Purdy of the NBA.
Sure.
Right? So if they're
maximizing the rookie deal.
In an insane way, right? And they're at 21 and the Kings are at 23rd, and really it's like those two spots is De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis.
That's right.
You could make that argument. So part of this is the rookie stuff. Part of this also is Sacramento not being able to always get the cream of the crop from a free agency standpoint and having to work through that. So I look at this, and if you take away the Thunder pound for pound, you can make the argument that Sacramento is pound for pound the best value team in the league. Now, people don't care about that.
Right, yeah, let's hang a banner.
Value doesn't mean parades, but it does mean that you're at least making the right decisions.
Yes, you're maximizing the potential.
Yes, I mean, you're not wasting money.
That's a bad look for all those Mike Brown haters out there.
That is a bad look for all the Mike Brown haters.
Because you know what? Everybody else has a hand in that except for Mike Brown. Monty McNair, you're wheeling and dealing the players. You're signing the contracts. Really, where I want to point this, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I mentioned Steve Ballmer, those deep pockets.
Are you going Vivek here?
Vivek ain't, I'm not doing we're not doing pocket watching segment right here, but some bags are deeper than others is what I would say.
Yeah. Or they're willing to be deeper than others. Yeah.
And the Kings are, to use Mike Brown's words, they're early in this process. So it doesn't, to maybe help Vivek's case out there, I'm not going to pay just to in the hopes of you guys being good. How about you guys get good and then I'll pay? I'm sure that's what Vivek has told Monty, and I'm sure it's what he's told Mike Brown as well.
Yeah, the Clippers to me is the biggest not miss because they could get it done this season.
Right.
But the Clippers and Minnesota, those are the two teams that are clearly all in.
Yeah.
Denver probably has a better value than the Kings simply because they won the whole thing.
Right, but Jokic almost counts as like a player and a half.
Exactly.
So you're able to not pay somebody because Jokic does so much that you can get by paying dudes like Christian Brown and the lower level Peyton Watsons and things like that.
Yeah, I mean the Kings are definitely in the top 3 to top 5. Yeah. I would put New Orleans up there.
It'd be interesting to look at this from a starting 5 perspective.
Right.
Too.
Yeah, and look, some of this is when you ask the question, does Sacramento need to be willing to pay a King's ransom? I think part of this also is do you have to overpay because you're in Sacramento to get some of these free agents that may not necessarily be interested in it. And to bring this all the way back around to the NFL, which I do think it's a little bit different, but NFL, they'll go anywhere, right? They'll go anywhere if the money is right.
Yeah.
And
they'll go to Green Bay.
They'll go to Green Bay.
You don't talk about market size in the NFL.
You don't. So if you're willing to, not crazy overspend, but that's basically what has to happen. Sometimes that's what we're looking to see this offseason. Yep. Hey, what are we willing to spend here? What are we not willing to spend? We know the situation, but if we get these guys in the building, that's all that really matters.
Sure. And also, I mean, it's a bit of like, I just laid out Vivek probably saying get good first, but how much of it could Monty push back and say, part of getting over the hump is risk taking. And, I've criticized their contracts plenty, but sometimes you got to take a risk on a big contract like Jeremy Grant. Like, is Vivek willing to make that sacrifice as well in taking a risk, not getting a definite product and saying, hey, you might have to shell out a lot of money here and it might not work, but if you want to be serious about getting better, these are the kind of things that we're going to have to do. You're going to have to be prepared to make. So I wonder just in general too, like when it comes to not only just paying a little bit of extra dollars in free agency, but also look, there's this guy out here that we just think we're looking for that Aaron Gordon. We're looking for that KCP, and we think this guy is that guy. Are you willing to take a risk with us? That's the next step of this thing for everybody. Is Monty willing to take that step? But also, is Vivek willing to shell out the money? And does playoff success play it? That's a little bit behind the curtain, but of course you get a ton of money from, making the playoffs and the revenue sharing. I mean, I joke about it at the beginning of the season, but see a whole lot more pyrotechnics in the Kings pregame intros this year than you did last year.
You do.
That's because you get a little bit of money and the budget gets dispersed. And, I wonder if maybe a couple more years of playoff success and then maybe they feel like the pockets are deep enough.
Yeah, I think the issue is now you're already past that point. Sure. You're good.
Yeah.
Now, you were mentioning you got to get good.
Yeah.
First of all, you're already good.
And you're banging on the ceiling right now.
Right. And second of all, you're in this current Western Conference. So the idea of get good, when I hear that, that's we have to hit on the draft.
Sure.
You're past that.
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to open those pockets if you want to compete.
Right. I mean, you see the crop of teams you're with.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
This is what it is. And they are producing. That's why they are ahead of you. And the teams that aren't, they're looking to get out of those contracts. Don't take those guys,
no, right.
But they're looking to get out of those contracts. When we return, we continue with the bag talk. Kirk Cousins.
Oh, boy.
Speaking of, and all the money he's finessed over the years. Is he worth it? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. All Naturewood Amish furniture is on sale right now for a limited time. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, well, use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Ball forward, take your base.
The only thing worse than a pitcher running out of gas on the mound is your old phone running out of storage for your photos in the stands.
Goodbye, home run!
Switch to Verizon and get a great deal on a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage for all the ballpark pics you want. Just trade in your iPhone, any model, in any condition, so you'll feel like you're winning, even when your team's not. Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a great deal on iPhone 15 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate and get iPad and Apple Watch SE with eligible service plan. Only on Verizon.
I just can't control my feet.
Coming to the venue at Thunder Valley, March 30th. World One presents The Jacksons with Sister Sledge. Tickets available now at the Thunder Valley box office, Ticketmaster.com, and World1Presents.com.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
The Oakland Ballers are having tryouts at Laney College on April 6th at 10 a.m. Guys, I don't know. You think I can convince my physical therapist to let me get out there?
Doesn't matter.
It's the only way of finding out if you're truly back.
That's right.
You can't let your physical therapist shackle you like that,
Right.
bro. You got to go out there and take
get out
it.
there.
You think Aaron Rodgers listened to medicine?
No.
That's also true.
He listened to demons and gods talking to him through wires or in the dark.
If Kirk Cousins can get a bag,
That's right.
I can get a relative
mini
bag.
bag,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. If Kirk Cousins,
You'll be like that Mark Wahlberg movie.
Invincible?
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That was a great movie, by the way.
I haven't seen it.
I
in a
didn't
long
see it
time.
either. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
at
me
all.
neither. It was
I
terrible.
definitely didn't see it
No, it was
at all.
What?
I did see it.
No,
I thought you saw
I didn't
it.
see it. I saw it.
I definitely have not seen it.
Before we get to the bag talk with Kirk Cousins, let's hear from Will, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Will? You're on Stiles and Watkins. What you got for us?
What's up, Stiles and Watkins? How you guys doing?
Great, Will. Good, man. How you doing?
Hey, I'm not saying you guys are wrong, but I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
I heard Watkins making, an analysis about payroll and all that. I mean, that in the big scheme of things, maybe next year, but this year, I mean, I don't think it matters what these payrolls is. I guarantee you we have a bigger payroll than the Rockets. We probably have a bigger pay. I couldn't check it because I'm on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee we got a bigger payroll probably than New Orleans, the Spurs. I mean, you can't with the team and the payroll we got. I mean, we paying HB about 17 or 18. We paying Herter about that amount. You NBA players, we can't keep losing 20-point leads. I mean, it has nothing to do with payroll. And then we got lucky against San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
That game we probably should have chalked that up, but we won. I'm happy. But you can't let New Orleans sweep you. You can't let the Rockets sweep you. That has nothing to do with payroll. We got the talent. I don't know what it is. Herter is not hitting his shots anymore. HB is still getting his 1 rebound, 1 assist, and then every now and then he'll have 25. But it's more than that. And I don't think people hate Brown. They don't hate Brown. People just frustrated. They say, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
How can we keep blowing these games?
Yeah, no, I hear you, Will.
We're going to talk more about that. Also, why teams are blowing games at 1:15. Or I'm sorry, at 1 o'clock, actually. I have really good numbers on why teams are blowing 20-point leads this year.
So Pelicans actually do have a higher payroll.
Yes.
Pelicans are at 12.
I can give you the list of teams. There's 7 teams that have a lower payroll than the Kings.
17 that have a lower payroll.
And there are 2 playoff teams.
Okay, let's hear them. And one of them is obviously the Thunder.
The Thunder actually, when I'm looking here, the Thunder actually have
19.
No, they have the Thunder are actually ahead of the Kings.
Okay.
So the teams that have cap underneath the Kings, and this is currently right now, the Utah Jazz have the lowest total cap in the league at 130. Detroit 135. Orlando's third lowest at 139. Orlando's a playoff team. San Antonio is at 142. Charlotte is at 143. Houston's at 146. And the Indiana Pacers are at 146 as well.
See that?
Those are the only teams that pay less money to their players than the Kings. A lot of those are young, inexperienced teams that really don't have any playoff aspirations.
Right. But I think what Will was kind of saying was that the Kings have lost to a lot of those teams.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
The Kings have lost to a lot of those teams. So whether it's payroll or not,
that's not the end all be. Like, you can win a game with low payroll, but it's about the whole season, paying for guys that consistently. And that's where I would say payroll definitely matters. We talk about the Kings dropping games. Well, maybe if you pay a little more money to some guys who are a little bit better, you don't drop as many games because they're just better players and tighten it up more.
Here is ultimately the question. I would say De'Aaron Fox, you're getting that value.
Yes.
I would say Sabonis, you're definitely getting that value.
Yeah.
The question is, where are you missing value?
Not Keegan. I'm sorry. Keegan, you're getting great value.
Yeah.
HB and Herter.
HB and Herter. They are
big
killing
ones.
your value.
Yep. Absolutely.
Because they're supposed to be good deals that actually don't look good because of how poorly they've been playing.
Yeah. No, at the very least, you're breaking even. It's like, HB 18 million, like, that's a high-end bench player, low-end starter, which is about what HB is. Kevin Herter, 15 mil for a shooter who's not shooting. You're not really touching where you would want. But then, of course, there are guys out there who make tons of money and are just shooters. But, if you're looking for where the Kings aren't getting value, those are the 2 that I'm looking at. But at the same time, you're getting massive value on a guy like Malik Monk, who you're only paying $9.5 million to. And as we know, Malik's contract this upcoming summer is probably going to be at the very least like 19 mil, if not more, if not in the low 20s. So, and that'll definitely help the Kings' salary as well. Obviously, Malik making more than double what he's making now would probably put the Kings more so in the near top 15, but still on the lower end of that.
Yeah, here is really the issue as far as that value. You have a guy like Kevin Huerter making 15 mil this year, 15.6, and somebody like a Pat Connaughton making 9.4.
Right. So you're definitely losing value there.
Yes.
Because I don't even know what Grayson Allen makes, but I'm assuming that you're like there's
and
tons of guys.
Brendan is here. Brendan is here. Brendan is here. When I asked him, I said, "Who you got, Brendan? Who you got?"
The craziest thing I'm seeing about this payroll thing before we get off of it, there's two teams in the next 3 years, so the 26-27 season. I guess 2 years how you look at it. Utah and Orlando have $0 on their payroll by then. They're not paying a single player. They're the only two teams. There's other teams that are only paying like 15 mil, 20 mil, a lot of like 50 plus. You're seeing 120 plus by that year. It's kind of crazy to think they won't have, well, I mean, they will, but they don't have anyone rostered to it. They're like clean slate teams.
Yeah.
So look for them to make like a move. I mean, Utah, you never know with Ainge, but it's just wild.
Yeah, and Malik Monk, I think, had been connected to Orlando at one point in time. Just for the record, Chris, Grayson Allen, making $8.5 million this year.
Really? Exactly. I mean, you're just paying way too much for Kevin Huerter right now.
Yeah, that is half. That is half of what.
And you're not getting double the production. That's
you're
for sure.
not right now.
Are you guys seeing the big trade in the NFL?
Nope.
Brian Burns is going to the Giants.
Oh,
yeah.
That was yesterday. That was yesterday.
Whoops, my bad. I missed that one. My bad.
There's a lot going on.
Sorry
There's a
about
lot going on.
I think the Niners got the wrong Panthers D lineman. Should have got Brian Burns.
There you go. A lot of people wanted Brian Burns. When we return, Chris has some insights on why NBA teams keep blowing 20-point leads, and that would also include the Sacramento Kings. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Malik Monk plays here.
Started left, goes right, steps back, launches the three. Nothing but net. Oh, that was just filthy. Oh, my, that was sweet.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. A bottle of Lucas Complete Fuel Treatment can clean your system and help your engine get more MPGs. Right now, you can get 2 bottles for only $9.99. A great deal to help you go a great deal farther. Find Lucas Complete Fuel Treatment and everything you need for better fuel efficiency at any one of our 6,300 stores.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This March, Wendy's has some amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave's single, order the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Kyle Draper. Equip your staff with top-notch uniforms, professionally cleaned and delivered weekly to your workplace by Alsco Uniforms, proud sponsors of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew. Our services include uniforms, towels, floor mats, mops, first aid supplies, and restroom essentials to uphold cleanliness and safety standards in your business. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Visit alsco.com to learn more. Again, visit alsco.com.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
With conference championships around the corner, now's the time to register for the Dos Million Bracket Challenge. Sign up now at TwinPeaksBracketChallenge.com. Then fill out your bracket before the tournament tips off March 21st.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
It is time, your chance to see local legend Hassan Minhaj. Live Nation has teamed up with Sactown Sports for your chance to see local legend Hassan Minhaj at the Safe Credit Union Performing Arts Center from beautiful downtown Sacramento on March 29th. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now. And Nate is working on some other stuff. Okay, Nate says caller number 3 to score that pair of tickets to pull up for Hassan's comedy homecoming. For more information, visit SactownSports.com.
Why did Nate yell? He's got a mic back there.
He was in here. He was in here.
I'm so confused.
Caller number 3, 916-339-1140, 916-339-1140, 916-339-1140. Caller number 3, got to be quick for your chance to see Hassan Minhaj at Safe Credit Union Performing Arts Center from beautiful downtown Sacramento on March 29th. Thanks to Live Nation, 916-339-1140. Seeing the calls come in now.
Wow.
To win your tickets. Joined now by Brendan Nunez. Brendan, thank you for joining us. You were at Shoot Around. We read off some of the clips that you had and some of the posts that you had with Keegan Murray and the interesting tidbit about him not accepting any excuses about his defense. But let's start here. Availability. I watched the video. We tried to go tinfoil hat to figure out
frame by frame
whether he's playing or not. It was moving a little gingerly to me. What did you see?
Yeah, it was a different shoot around today. Typically, home ones are a little bit more of a practice. Today, they did more of, we're going to watch film and very light workouts, individual workouts after the fact. So there isn't necessarily like, oh, he was a full participant because it's not a typical practice. But he was getting shots up after, for what it's worth. He said he's feeling all right. He said he looked back at it and it looked worse than he thought.
The dirty part?
I'm assuming he means the play.
It was bad.
I don't think it was dirty.
Brendan.
They're like stepping on his foot?
Brendan, he stepped on his foot.
I don't think that was intentional.
Brendan, you see Dylan Brooks. You see his eyes.
It was
you
Dylan
see
Brooks?
his eyes.
I didn't even know.
Yes, it was Dylan Brooks. Does that change your mind now?
No, I mean, Keegan was like behind him. I don't think it was intentional.
Forward to the left.
I don't think it was
like it was Dance Dance Revolution.
I didn't look for it, to be honest, to figure out if I thought it was, because it didn't even cross my mind.
Sure.
But Keegan said he's all right. He said it's whatever.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to say, though. So we don't really know. Questionable going into the night. And that's pretty much the extent of what we got. He's out there working out. And for what it's worth, Sasha Vezenkov, still not participating in team practices, but this is the second time in a row we've seen him go out after the group is done with their own workout and go get shots up.
Need him.
Do you feel like the back-to-back has any effect into which game Keegan probably plays?
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about it. It probably not. I mean, I think if anything, you play the first and see how the second goes, between the two. But I wouldn't think that that's necessarily factoring into his status tonight. And I would guess that it more so would apply to tomorrow against LA.
And then Sasha too. Like we don't really have any view of a timetable or
I mean,
like
it we'll definitely get progress of him participating in practices before anything like that. I believe we're about the 4.5 week mark from when he had that ankle sprain, and the timeline initially was 4 to 6 weeks for reevaluation. Doesn't necessarily mean being back, just reevaluated. So we're still early in that process, but it's definitely a step in the right direction that he's getting shots up by himself after the fact. But we'll know as we get closer, but there's still definitely steps that need to be taken before we get there.
And we've talked about it before. I think we might have talked about it on Friday as well, but how are we feeling about the probability of him, or possibility, I should say, possibility of him being reinserted into the rotation when he does come back?
Yeah, I mean, we got 19 games, something 18 like that, games. Yeah. We're right around there. Maybe you try it and kind of see where he's at. I think you kind of mainly get a feel for it in practice of, is he moving well? And, where are the minutes coming from? Before he got injured, he was really playing maybe 12 minutes a night, and it was kind of just spotty. He seems like a guy that, you want to have in your back pocket of, we're not able to hit shots. I think they did that against Milwaukee actually on the road, if I'm remembering that correctly, or maybe it was somebody else. They couldn't hit a shot to save their life. And it's like, okay, let's try to throw this guy out there. And I think it could be more of that, or that, end of third, start of the fourth, where you're like, we just need to get somebody like 4 minutes of rest right now before this final stretch. And I think that's maybe when you could see him thrown out there. But, I lean more towards, it's probably going to be hard to work him back in this final stretch right as you're going into the postseason. And maybe it's just a wild card you kind of keep in your back pocket.
If Keegan can't go tonight, you thinking Chris Duarte, Keon Ellis? What's the direction you're seeing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would guess Chris Duarte. It's definitely not going to be Malik Monk. There's a world where I could see it being Trey Lyles, but I wouldn't expect that either. Like, HB could play that 3, put Trey at the 4, but my guess would be Chris Duarte. That's what they've ran with before. He's played with that starting unit, and, that doesn't mean he's going to play more than 15 minutes, but he would be my guess.
But you could also argue that against a team like Milwaukee, maybe Trey does make more sense, right?
He might. Extremely physical. If you remember last time they played in Golden One last year, kind of got into it with Brooke Lopez.
I can't forget.
And you like that little bit of fire at times. But yeah, I mean, the physicality I think is going to be a very big thing tonight. And Milwaukee's rolling offensively. So I'm interested to see kind of how they deal with that. I asked Keon Ellis about the 3-yard lineups today, and he was saying, I don't know how much I agree with this, but maybe going small, for example, against a team like Milwaukee, can force them to have to match your size. Now, I don't know that Keon Ellis and Davion Mitchell are forcing Milwaukee to necessarily match you, but it's an interesting theory that I'm curious to see how it plays out tonight.
Yeah, and the physicality thing is a word that we kind of throw around, and I would never call a team soft or not physical. But okay, we're dealing with this conversation against the Rockets. We're dealing with this conversation now against the Bucks. How many teams in the NBA do you think are quote unquote physical versus teams that are not physical?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I would say like Minnesota comes to mind.
As physical?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Even though Cat doesn't really fit in that, I think that they are a very physical team. I hate to be rude, but come on, Cat is not like what you think of when you think of physicality. That's all I'm saying. He's finesse.
Just look at the DeMarcus Cat picture.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. So that comes to mind. Even Milwaukee, though, this year, man, like their perimeter defense is not the most physical. It's really Giannis and Brooke that we're talking about, and Bobby Portis, and I guess Pat Bev now as well. So as I keep going, but
I'm looking here just at the different teams, and I'm thinking about the teams that the Kings do well against and don't do well against, and the Thunder, not very physical. Right. Even though they're long, not very physical. Yep. The Nuggets, not the most physical team in the world, I wouldn't say, right? They're just a solid team. That's not their calling card. And then you get to the Kings have played the T-Wolves pretty tough. Then after that, you get the Clippers. I'd call the Clippers physical. Yeah. Right. And then Pelicans, I would call them physical as well. Then you have the Suns, who aren't very physical. So there clearly is a pattern. My issue is it's not as if there's only 3 physical teams in the NBA you have to deal with. A lot of these teams are physical. So you got to figure it out.
And the physicality goes up in the postseason. Like, I don't know where Golden State would necessarily fall, current Golden State on that. But in the postseason, they're going to be physical.
Yes.
And Sacramento upped their physicality as well in the postseason. I think there was a learning moment for some of the dudes that hadn't been there of, okay, we can do this, and they're just not going to call it.
Right.
Actually, they let you play a little bit more, which I think could be beneficial to Sacramento. But I do think you're on to something. Like that Houston game felt super similar to the Miami one for me, a team that really packs the pain and like you said, plays really physical. And De'Aaron has a season-high 7 turnovers against Miami. Domas has 9, which isn't quite a season high, but second most this season against Houston. Teams that really pack that paint, I think, have made things difficult for the Kings, and that definitely includes a sense of physicality there.
And you have the Bucks tonight. You have a Lakers team that's going to have all the incentive in the world. And then speaking of physicality, you got a Tom Thibodeau team on Saturday in the Knicks. So it's not, there's not going to be, I guess I'm just not buying it as an excuse because we're talking about a Houston Rockets team who you have not been able to beat. They're the 11 seed. Yeah. So physical, not physical, I don't care. You have to win these games.
Right.
Every team is going to have something that you don't do well or that's going to be a struggle for you. And it feels like the Kings right now, if everything doesn't fall right in the exact way they want it to, they struggle.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're just a team that's like fully reliant on their offense, just like they were last year, and that's going to mean that you're inconsistent. There's nights that shots don't go down. Yep. You pointed out to me after last game, I think there's 7 worst 3-point percentage games they've all lost. Their record in showings where they don't get the shots to go down there's a drastic difference. I think they're like 34-1. I could have that slightly wrong, but in games they score 120 plus.
Right.
And it is so much worse, obviously, when they don't reach that mark. So there's definitely a correlation there, and it shouldn't be an excuse. The Houston one's a little weird because those first 2 games were without De'Aaron.
Sure.
But Domas needed to be better. Like, again, not an excuse, but plays a part, I guess, worth acknowledging. So, yeah, I mean, you have a good point. These next 3 games, extremely physical teams, and the Lakers are going to be very motivated, like you said. Yes. They feel like they want to get their get back after last game. Anthony Davis post-game, after he puts up that ridiculous, 25, and who knows how many blocks and steals in there, too, gets interviewed post-game and says, yeah, we got sacked next, and we owe him one. We're looking forward to it.
Man.
I don't need that.
And Anthony Davis, a motivated Anthony Davis,
right?
About as scary as it gets.
It's like a blue moon. When it shows up, you're very scared.
I'm sure he saw those 0-9 graphics.
Yes.
I bet he did.
Yeah.
We'll see here. I think we have enough time here. I wanted to go real quick on this ESPN.com story that I saw last night about why NBA teams, and this is something we've been talking about all year long, why do NBA teams keep blowing 20-point leads? It's on ESPN.com from Andrew Lopez, and this is very topical, of course. Even Toronto blew a 20-point lead last night to Denver. It all starts, the article does, with Wemby, of course. Wemby, they asked him after the first 5 games that he went through, what is really sticking out to you about the NBA game? He said, quote, this is also something we see in FIBA when we play Team USA and Scout Team USA. You're going to be up like 15, and in a blink, what happens because they run the fast break like crazy and get stopped. So, yeah, the NBA, it's the same. I believe a 20-point lead is nothing. Here are some numbers that definitely back what Wemby's saying. Since 2003-2004 season, which was LeBron's rookie year, there were only 12 games in which a team overcame a 20-point deficit. 2 seasons later, that figure dropped to 5 games. This season, there have been 29 games in which a team has won after trailing by 20 or more points, one shy of a record set just last season. 6 of the last 7 seasons have had at least 20-point comebacks. The one year that didn't was the COVID-shortened season, and even still, there were 19 such comebacks. The frequency of 10 to 15-point comebacks has also increased. In 97, teams that fell behind double digits had a 181 win percentage. That climbed to 250 a season ago and is at 233 this season, meaning nearly 1 in every 4 games in which a team takes a double-digit lead ends up the other team winning. Pace and 3-point shooting have been big factors. De'Aaron Fox has some quotes about it, earlier in the season, talking about, you really, when you get up, how you stay up, how you can put your foot on the neck, maybe turn a 20-point lead into 30 to 40. That's where it can be difficult to come back in this league. The Kings have seen both ends of this trend just last week, overcoming a 19-point first-quarter deficit to LeBron and the Lakers, then watching a Spurs team without Wemby erase a 20-point deficit before the Kings were able to pull out a dramatic win in the last minute. And that game marked the 43rd time this season a team has led by as many as 20 points, then found itself either tied or trailing later that game. It's the second most in the play-by-play era since 96-97, behind 55 games in 16-17. And that number was as little as 11 in 97-98. So I know that's a lot of numbers, but pretty much it's saying not only are the Kings blowing 20-point leads,
right,
everybody's blowing 20-point leads, and it's happening at a rate in which nobody could have foreseen, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down anytime soon.
I think it's good for I think it's good for the league in that viewership. You're never out of a game on both sides of it. You're hoping that you don't blow the lead if it's your team in the lead, and you're hoping that you can come back if it's your team that's down. So I think it's good for the league. I
actually think it's bad.
You think it's bad?
I think it's bad because no one, it further pushes the narrative of you don't have to watch this game until 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Well,
that.
What's the point? What's the point of getting emotionally high because your team looks like they're playing the best game of the season, and then it says 1 in 4 games is pretty much going to end up being you're going to lose that lead, and at the end of the day, exactly, last 5 minutes is really what's going to determine it. So I actually think in a weird way, and I've got some numbers for the free throws going down as well. I just think that in a way, I don't think big comebacks are good for the league. I think it's exciting. I think it's cool to have every so often. It's what makes them special, but if it's happening all the time, it seems like that's like a problem with the play, right? It kind of means that literally leads mean nothing.
I do kind of lean more towards Allen on this one. I think that even watching Kings games, they're down 15, 10 minutes left in the fourth. I'm like, this is still a game.
Yeah, it works on both sides, for sure.
But at the same time, yeah, you have a lead, could go away. I will say it's sweeter when you've watched the process of the comeback to then feel those last 5 minutes.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I get is not going to be everybody's mindset.
Right,
Because I get what you're saying in this process, but I think it makes it exciting. And from Sacramento's perspective, they've got to have at least 4 this year, 20-point leads that are blown at least, right?
That feels low.
Right. And I'm saying, trying to play it safe there, and not overplay it. But I think for them, one of the big things is, like you mentioned, the pace and 3-point shooting. The Kings lean into that so heavily.
Mm-hmm.
They're good with taking a shot 16 seconds into the shot clock if you're even slightly open and a good shooter, if it's the type of shot that they want. And I was kind of asking some of the guys yesterday at practice and coach and everything of, do you think you should slow it down when you get a lead? And Harrison Barnes's response was, that's a common thought, but I think for us, it's just valuing possessions.
Mm-hmm.
It's instead of turnovers, it's a missed shot or a make, obviously, but it gives us an opportunity to go back and set our defense. And Mike Brown said, if that's what got us the lead in the first place, we're trying to kill them, really, instead of
keep your foot on the gas.
Right. And so it's torn, but I think that there's pros and cons. It helps you come back quick, but I think it makes you blow leads very quickly too.
I think it makes the product worse, though.
Which
we can get into later.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll also talk about the free throws, why they are down, and asking the question to the guys and also to everybody listening. Do you think that other teams consider the Kings a difficult offense to face? Do you think they are dangerous right now? Not in theory, right now. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Kings had their hearts ripped out in Milwaukee, and now they go for revenge.
Forces the shot. It's no good. Rebound. Track down. Malik Monk has it. Races up the floor. Is he going to drive it? He pulls up with the elbow. Circles back out. Steps into a three. He scores the triple. Game tied at 129.
It's the Kings and Bucks tonight at Golden One Center. Tip-off at 7 on your home of the Kings, Sactown Sports.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by California Army National Guard, Major Wood Home Furnishings, and RVs of Sacramento.
It's Carmichael Day with a Fire Wings announcement. The Floor and Road location now serves pizza, and oh my goodness, it's so good. Don't forget the Wings Day Wednesday lineup, 88-cent wings every Wednesday. You got 21 delicious flavors to choose from and the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Save time and order online. Go to firewings.com or download the app. Find a location near you, order online, and earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Joined by Brendan Nunez, our Sactown Sports Kings insider. Before we get to some of the free throw numbers, Chris has just been on his grind. Can I just say real quick, I'm getting back from, being in AZ, being in Arizona.
Much deserved vacation.
And Chris has just been on top of it, right? Just the rundowns have been outstanding. The detail has just been incredible. So just want to give some flowers to Chris, making our jobs a lot easier. Before we get to more of those free throw numbers, guys, I guess it depends on who you ask. But if you polled every team that has played the Sacramento Kings and you ask them who are the 3 most dangerous offenses that you face this season, how many teams do you think put the Kings in that top 3?
Probably 0.
Yeah, maybe you'll get like 1 or 2. Maybe.
Because when we talk about the pace and, they run and gun and, they do this and they got all these dangerous shooters, I just don't think the Kings offense is that dangerous. Not this season.
I mean, they haven't been this season. What are they, like 8th right now in offensive rating?
Yeah.
But last year, 100%. They're definitely in that top 3. I think everybody would have said last year.
Yeah.
I mean, post All-Star break, they're 5th in offense. And
that's right. Mike Brown will let you know that, right?
Yes, he will.
Said it 5 times yesterday.
Even the threes aren't going down very well during that time. But, I think that if you pull the top 5, they'd get some shouts for sure.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just think top 3 is probably – they're not quite there just because, really, it's the spacing that Keegan and Kevin provide. Mm-hmm. And after that, it's how are De'Aaron, Malik, and Domas going to kill you? And if you could do your best to keep those guys out the paint, which I think what Houston and Miami have done well, and try to force them into turnovers, then the Kings could be in trouble. So, I think other teams probably just have more options. Like, people are going to pick Jokic and all his surrounding pieces easily over Sacramento.
They'll pick Boston.
Right. On the right night, though,
they'll pick the Pacers.
I think the Kings are on the right night. The Kings are deadly.
I was going to say the Lakers might pick the Kings. The Lakers might have them in the top.
They might.
They would know.
Yeah,
they would definitely know.
Real quick before we get to the free throws, just because we have you, Brendan, because if people have heard Coach Mike Brown talk about the get too deep, you were talking about penetrating and what these other teams have done. How do you think the Kings avoid the don't get too deep tonight and just moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's just those 2 games specifically, the Miami and Houston one, I think are very specific to that issue of teams that pack the paint really well. And I think Milwaukee could fit into this as well. It's interesting because it clearly was the game plan going in. It just wasn't executed. And then it's funny, everybody on socials blow upset Mike Brown.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just, one less dribble into the paint and playing off of 2 feet. If you go up in the air, you're putting yourself in a tough situation, or you're just playing off 1, you're kind of forcing yourself into making decisions when you could be a little bit more patient. So, it really comes down to those 3 that I mentioned of De'Aaron, Malik, and Domas. Those are the guys that are really creating everything out there. And the spacing and these other guys cutting and everything is definitely a crucial part of the offense. But those 3 creating, finding a way to get into the paint and make plays, I think it's just about taking 1 less dribble, really, and playing off 2 feet, knowing where you're going to rotate. And when that ball gets swung to Keegan or Kevin, and I think Keegan specifically is better at this, attack that closeout and then make another pass from there if there's nothing open.
Okay. All right. Because you keep hearing about it.
Yes. You do.
And, hopefully you can stop from doing it. All right, Chris, I know we're up against it, but you had some free throw numbers. We can
real
always
quick here
continue it going.
So
as well.
this kind of spawned after in the most recent Bill Simmons podcast with Ryan Russillo, they talked about the free throws and how they had noticed that it just feels like the game is being called a little bit different post All-Star break. Of course, there's been a lot of talk all year long about how the game's been officiated, how, it's just soft. Allen has wonderfully coined the term free throw merchant. And there was a lot of people who were just out there trying to get to the free throw line and not actually trying to play basketball and have basketball moves. So this is also from Reddit. Shout out Reddit, who really helped on today's show. Before the All-Star game, there were about 45.3 free throws combined amongst all the teams. Since the All-Star game, in a sample of 141 games, that number is all the way down to 40 attempts per game. Last season, both segments pre and post All-Star were around 46 to 47 attempts per game. This person also looked at 3-point attempts because, of course, you can maybe say, hey, maybe the league is just taking more threes, and so it's leading to less shots at the rim, which leads to less fouls. Nope. It's pretty much no change in 3-point attempts per game before and after All-Star break. So pretty much the very, very simple analysis is something went on at the All-Star game where Adam Silver has caught a lot of flack all year for how the game has been officiated. People are saying that maybe there was a conversation that said, hey, down the stretch here, swallow the whistle, have it be a lot more like playoff basketball, a lot more physicality. And not only does it play into the free throws, but there has not been a single, not one 50-point performance in over a month, which seems incredibly unlikely to happen just by chance because we had 6 60-point games within a 2-month span. Earlier this year, it seemed this season there would be way more 50-point games than last season, 25. But as of now, it looks like it won't even match that number. It's currently at 15 50-point games this year.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
That's tinfoil hat, right?
It's real tinfoil hat, but there's the numbers do not lie there. Like 5 free throws per game is very across the board. Is very, very significant. From what I understand, the Lakers still have a crazy free throw discrepancy.
Well,
but they don't count. 29 other
they just
teams
attack the paint.
Yeah, dude,
you got to attack the
part
paint.
of the game plan.
It might all come from Joel being injured. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Crazy.
Not gonna lie.
That is.
We're gonna
I've got no retort to that.
We got 2 merchants tonight. Tonight. When we return, dog segment and prop talk. Also talk about Malik Monk, how he is the favorite to win 6th Man of the Year. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Keep it here to Sactown Sports for the Sacramento Kings push toward the postseason.
Get analysis from our local shows, breakdowns from our Kings insiders, and all the thrilling moments from the G-Man.
Fox now on the left angle, gets to 2-point range, lobs it out to Herter, wide open. 3 to seal the deal. He's got the triple, and Fox has a career-high 16th assist.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
National Ping Club Fitter of the Year, Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is introducing the straightest, most forgiving Ping driver ever with the new Ping G430 Max 10K driver. A fixed back weight, Ping's largest head profile, and a carbon fly wrap crown help G430 Max 10K launch the ball higher with less spin for consistently longer and straighter results. Schedule your fitting and see for yourself at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue to Cap City Freeway, or online at HagenOaks.com.
Fidium Fiber Internet is fast becoming a hometown favorite. With a dedicated connection and speeds up to 2 gigs, Fidium is winning over fans every day. Plans start at just $25 a month, so everyone can experience the best internet in the game. Visit FidiumFiber.com.
When accidents turn life upside down, AutoAccident.com is in your corner. Compassionate advice, loyal support, and the courage to fight for you. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Art support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Art support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Guys, this month only, Revive Men's Health Sacramento offers qualified patients a free supply of ED medication to kickstart their treatment and enhance intimacy. Book your free T-Check exam and consultation today. Call 916-365-4566 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Sactown Sports. Call or text 916-339-1140.
It is time. Ride with us. Hopefully, we'll get back on the right track. Brendan Nunez still hanging with us.
Brendan in the kitchen right now.
Yeah, Brendan is in the kitchen trying to cook up a W. Trying to keep up with your boys. We are going to rock with Prop Talk, and then we have Dog segment. Nate is going to get that music going in a second. In the meantime, from the 209, Alan Stiles is an Oakland baller if I've ever seen one. Get out there.
You got to get out there.
I legitimately can't sprint.
Hey, man, if you hit it far enough,
I just want to take batting
first.
practice. All I want to do is take batting practice, be like, all right, now give us a hard 90. I can't do all that.
Like, how hard do you think the guys out there throw? Like in that
I mean,
league?
I would assume it's a bunch of dudes that didn't get drafted. I
Right.
think they're probably going to be like 23, 24 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they still got
Maybe
it.
younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they check for PEDs in this league.
Okay, I'm not. We're not doing that. Time for Prop Talk. Since you got so much to say, Nate, why don't you go first in Prop Talk?
Okay, well, I'll tell you who I'm not picking, and that's going to be Kevin Herter
You're right.
because I don't think any of us should pick him anymore. I think he
can't
should be
do
off the
this.
table. What do you think? What do you think, Chris?
I agree, at least for the time being. Until Kevin Herter's points projection gets over 10.5.
Can I just say something?
He's at 9
He's
right
down
now.
to
He's
9.
at
We
9.
already did this.
He's down to 9.
Guys, that's the time to do it.
No,
It is you, Brendan.
No. That's what he did, and he threw up a 0 in the blowout win.
I'm the reason he's down to 9.
Yeah, you're like.
I think that's the time to do it.
I'm
Thank you,
also
Brendan.
staying away from Keegan tonight. He's at 13.5 points. I just don't. The injury, I'm just not feeling that at all.
If Keegan doesn't play, Kevin Herter 9 points is free cheese.
It will probably go up. I mean, for sure.
No, dude, you cannot say it's free cheese. That is crazy. You've been saying some wild stuff. That's
I'm just
nuts.
saying. All right, pick someone.
Okay, I'm going Mr. Suit and Tie, old reliable. I think this is one of his games. And help me out here, guys. I don't know if I should do the over for 10.5 points or the over for 1.5 3-pointers made.
Ooh.
I always do the 3-pointers.
Yeah, 3-pointers is probably the
Harrison?
easier one. Yeah.
I was looking at his 1.5 free throws made.
Oh, man.
1.5.
1.5. Will he get to the line one time? And
I honestly feel better about the 2 threes than the 2 free throws.
Probably
Well,
fair.
the problem with him, he's getting and ones quite a bit. I mean, that's
True.
a lot of
Good
his free
point.
throws. So
True. That would break your
so
heart.
he could get to the line once
suck.
and then and one. Oh, yeah.
Right.
All right. I think I'm going to do the 10.5. I'm sorry, I'm going against the 10.5 over for HB. That's just where I'm at right now. Plain and
I like
simple.
I like it.
Alan?
All right. You want to go, Al?
Sure.
All right.
Big Al.
Al
Let's go, Big Al.
just glaring
Big
at
A.
Nate through.
I don't know why you're mad at me.
He's so mad at you.
I'm going with a guy who balled out last time, and he's going to do it again. The Foxy one, De'Aaron Fox, 28.5.
Bold pick.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I mean, you know,
My picks are getting stolen here, guys.
21.5.
28.
28.
Oh my goodness! And that's normal. That's not on hard mode or anything.
No, it's not a goblin or a demon.
I will say Dame and De'Aaron have both had over 20 points in, I believe, their last 6 matchups. So both of them like to go at each other. And, Lillard and Fox scored 20 or more points in their past 6 head-to-heads.
Well, the demon for Fox, 34.5.
Oh,
And you have to take the over. That's
a lot.
That's a toughie.
A lot of cheddar.
I'll stick with the normal one.
Yeah.
Chris?
I'm going to go with, I'm seeing here, Domantas Sabonis 1.5 dunks. That feels easy. It feels like it's almost up on accident. So I'm going to, maybe they're thinking the length of Milwaukee would lead him to not being able to dunk over Giannis and Brook Lopez, but looking at it here, I mean, Sabonis is definitely averaging more than 1 dunks per game in just about every single performance here. So it feels easy to say Domantas Sabonis over 1.5 dunks tonight.
Yeah,
I like that.
I love that one.
He had 2 against Houston, 4 against San Antonio, 2 against the Lakers, and 4 against Chicago.
Interesting.
1.5 feels easy.
That's a lock.
Interesting.
It's almost
With
too low.
Brook and Giannis is interesting,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
It's a little
We'll see.
scary.
And Giannis is probable coming into the night as well, by the way, for what it's worth. Now, took the Harrison one. I had 3 here, right? I had Harrison's 1.5 free throws.
Yeah.
Also, this is an easier number. How do you call it? The Goblin or not the Goblin? The
Yeah.
whatever the 2 are.
Elf.
You know, there you go. Elf.
It's green.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elf is fine. 1.5 threes made for De'Aaron. Brook Lopez is in that drop a lot, and I think De'Aaron's going to get some threes up. We'll see how many go down, but I think he's going to get some threes up. And 2's not bad.
You could do attempts.
Well, attempts was at like 7. I was like, I don't know about this. The other one I got, since you guys took those, those players, I like Giannis free throws made. I know typically we're supposed to go Kings here.
Wow, not you two.
I know typically we're supposed to go Kings here, but it's 7 is the line. They do a great job getting to the free throw line. The Kings, little foul prone and struggle with that physicality like we talked about, and wouldn't be surprised if Golden One Center's counting to 10.
7.
The merchant.
I will be.
It's
The
at
merchant.
7.
He averages 7.2 makes.
Wait, so 6.5 is the line?
It's 7 actually.
The line is.
The line is
flat, so
7.
you can draw.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I
you
hate
draw.
that. Give me
All right.
one. Give me.
Chris?
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but I mean, I definitely think Giannis is going to get to the line a ton. The Kings have no defensive answers for him, so it's going to be interesting. I was also looking, the Sabonis dunk, but I was also looking at my boy Brook Lopez 1.5 threes. Might have to take that.
Yeah. So which one of us 4 do, or we go around the room? Which one do we like the most?
The dunks.
It's
for me.
Chris's, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
I
our
think
lock.
So.
That's the one we like the most.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so
Let's
too.
lock it. Nate, lock that.
Lock
thing.
that. That door's locked.
Dude,
We're
Lock
good.
it up.
Appreciate that.
All right, Nate, let's run it up. It is time for the dog segment. Roop, roop. It's going to be a tough matchup tonight for the Kings. I feel like we have all been picking the other guys, if you will, hoping that someone has a big night. You know, if I'm not mistaken, we talk about the Lakers having a gear to grind with the Kings tomorrow night. But if I'm not mistaken, Malik Monk missed some very important free throws, among other players, but missed some very important free throws in Milwaukee. And I think that Malik Monk is ready to avenge that L.
Yeah.
And I think Malik Monk is going to be a dog tonight.
Okay. He's always a great dog.
He is.
I feel like he's kind of the essential dog.
He is.
I mean, yeah, he's the one guy, undeniable dog-like quality.
Sabonis you'll hit every night, but Malik is the pick, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nate.
Oh, man. Okay, I'm staying away from Keegan Murray, just the injury and all. I like what Brendan was saying in the practice about his practice today, all that stuff. But if he's limping, and I'm not into that. I picked HB, and in our, I almost said I just picked HB. I'm not picking HB again. I'm not doubling down. I'm gonna rock with. Just give me Trey Lyles. Just give me Trey Lyles. That's my safety valve.
He's got to turn it around.
Yeah, that's plain and simple. That's it.
He's got to turn it around.
That's where I was going.
Brendan, you were going Trey.
I was going Trey, but I could switch it up.
He's got bad blood with the Bucks.
He does. Him and Brooke,
Have they played since then? They have, right?
Yes.
They played in Milwaukee this year, and that's the one where Alan was talking about Malik missed those free throws towards the end. I don't know. I kind of just want to roll with De'Aaron. You guys were talking about De'Aaron earlier, thinking he's going to cook. I like it, man. Him and Malik both for me, but I'll roll with De'Aaron. I think the threes are going to matter tonight, and I know people are a little torn on that. Maybe it turns into more mid-range, but I think that's going to matter tonight, and we'll see who starts on Dame, but at some point it's going to be De'Aaron, and I hope he locks in there.
Boom. Chris?
Yeah, I'm trapped because I think I want to take all of your guys' picks. Definitely thought Malik, Trey was kind of my one, and then De'Aaron was going to be my backup. I think I'm going to go with De'Aaron anyway. I think I just believe that, again, Dame is not a good defender, and those two guys like to go back and forth all the time. Last time, Dame had the game winner. I just think De'Aaron's really prideful, and I think he really likes that matchup. And this is a game where they need him to attack. I know Brendan took the three, or Brendan didn't take the threes. He thought about taking the threes, but I just think De'Aaron needs to establish that paint tonight. We've seen him be better at establishing that paint, and it's going to be tough driving in there with Brook Lopez and Giannis in the paint. But I gotta believe that if the Kings are going to win tonight, it's going to be because of De'Aaron Fox.
When we return, we recap all of the running back action in the NFL. We also give our final thoughts and keys to the game tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have, because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
This March, Wendy's has some amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with an-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it.
Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's, official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
Sneezing, coughing, stuffy nose, runny nose, post-nasal drip, interrupted sleeping. I was groggy at the end of the day.
Allergies and sinus congestion were making Jana miserable. Then, a friend recommended Navage. Navage provides immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Navage helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
Navage gave me instant relief. I didn't have to wait 30 minutes. I didn't have to wait an hour, 90 minutes. I didn't have to wait a minute. I ran the rinse and I felt better.
Stop suffering from congestion and start breathing and feeling your best again with Navage. Navage.
I've had people ask me how I find relief, and I tell them Navage immediately. This thing is amazing.
Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house, even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found you.
How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
With NBA League Pass, you get so much game.
Even regular season games?
Yep.
Even some of the in-season tournament?
Mm-hmm.
Can I watch home and away team broadcasts?
Oh, yeah.
Can I watch from my phone while I take a long bath?
Sure.
And if my team wins, can I stand up super fast and splash water everywhere and scream, yes, that's right?
Hey, could we get a normal fan for this commercial? Subscribe at NBA.com/League Pass today. Only select out-of-market games available and local blackout restrictions apply. Additional charges and other conditions may apply. Visit NBA.com/subscriber agreement for full terms and conditions.
Right now, Meta Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on new 2024 half-ton Silverado LT Crew Cab four-wheel drives after rebate. It's a Meta Chevy exclusive.
See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/24.
See all the savings at MetaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Thank you to Brendan Nunez for joining us. We will see Brendan tonight. Brendan giving some good insight. I mean, there really wasn't too much to tell from the shoot around. Keegan the biggest thing was, because it wasn't an aggressive shoot around, it was a little bit different. There was no opportunity to say this person was a full participant. Right. Nobody was really a full participant because they kept it pretty chill. So thank you to Brendan for that insight. Be sure to check out Brendan on X and on SactownSports.com. This is from the 916. Here we go, Chris.
Uh-oh.
Why doesn't the entire home crowd loudly count down from 10?
Oh, yeah.
As soon as Giannis gets the ball from the ref at the free throw line.
Called him the alphabet.
The alphabet gets the ball from the ref at the free throw line. This is from Devin the Dude.
It's a great question. They definitely should. 100%. If you're in Golden One Center today, start counting. Absolutely. Hold the refs accountable.
Is Devin saying that Giannis is holding the ball longer than 10 seconds?
Yes, absolutely. And it's true. And here's the other thing, too. Let's not forget, Giannis does a whole free throw route. He takes a free throw before even getting the ball. He does the dribble, he breathes, he does a mock free throw, and then receives the ball. So the whole process is like a 25-second process. But absolutely, if you are a fan at Golden One Center today for the Sacramento Kings, absolutely count down as loud as you can every time Giannis gets the ball at the free throw line, because it's the only way that they're going to hold him accountable. And I don't care if you actually do the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi ref, the point gets across. So count as fast as possible.
Have you seen the back-to-back? And nowadays you never know, but have you seen the back-to-back, which is supposedly, and it's one of those memes where it says, this is cool. And why is this okay? But this isn't. Have you seen, it's a side-by-side of Giannis and Anthony Davis, saying that Anthony Davis takes a really long time at the free throw line as well, and nobody talks about it. Now, again, it could be doctored at these days, but yeah, I saw that as well. So thank you to Devin the Dude.
Yes.
We will definitely do our best to make sure that people are on top of it.
Please.
And getting on Giannis, because this is a big one. Both of these games.
I'll bring my stopwatch.
That's right. Both of these games are big tonight and tomorrow night as we end, last but not least, with some NFL free agency, going through all the new look running backs and also reading off the amount of money that Kirk Cousins has made. So Saquon Barkley is now on the Eagles. Josh Jacobs is now on the Packers. Austin Eckler is now on the Commanders. Derrick Henry, this was today, is now on the Ravens. Tony Pollard is now on the Titans. DeAndre Swift, Bears. Aaron Jones, Vikings. There you go, Chris.
Right.
Devin Singletary, Giants. Gus Edwards, Chargers. Antonio Gibson, Patriots. Zach Moss, Bengals. Joe Mixon was traded to the Texans. Is this the way that will keep running backs happy now? Hey, my life is just, I'm going to get moved around. Someone's always going to pay me between $4 million and $8 million for what, hopefully 7 years, something like that. Yeah. Has it ended with running back? We can't deal with this anymore. This is ridiculous. Is this how it ends? It's just going to be a carousel every season.
Yeah, I mean, what you just described is essentially a mercenary, right? Like it sounds like that's exactly what it is. It's just a body for hire. And I do think so. Like, I think that's really interesting, actually, has the movement replaced the solidarity of, like, instead of getting a 6-year, $60 million contract with the team, you're probably with one team, you'll probably just get two $30 million or $20 million deals with two other teams. I guess so, but it's just sad because it makes it feel like the running back position is, and it's been trending this way, especially value-wise, but it just feels like it's the most expendable position on the field, and they're starting to be treated like it. I mean, Saquon Barkley, like, how do the Giants, in 15 years ago, it would be insane for the Giants to even let Saquon approach free agency because he's the best player on that offense. And the thought of running that offense with just Daniel Jones at the helm with no safety blanket, nobody would think that that's the direction the team should go. And so I think the fact that they pretty much let him go with minimal hesitation, like I think that shows that this is probably the way of the NFL. Look at DeAndre Swift. This is team 3 in 3 years pretty much. So I think in a way it is definitely going to be just find a situation that works for you right now and then be prepared to find a different one in a couple of years.
Yeah, and somebody will find that value in you. Look, they say this exactly. They say the same thing in corporate America and also I'd say to a lesser degree in blue collar America as well. But a lot of times, if you want that promotion, if you want that role, you have to leave.
Yep.
Right? Because somebody is just going to value you differently. I don't know if it's human nature, but there is something, where I was, you'd see people come in and you knew that you were doing more than them, but they would have titles higher than you just because it's somebody coming in new. And that value is just a little bit different. And that you just get valued a little bit less when you're homegrown for some odd reason. So it's going to continue to happen. I think pretty soon we'll stop with all this Josh Jacobs and saying, well, the whole loyalty conversation and we didn't even talk about Saquon and Tiki Barber going after it.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, so Saquon and Tiki Barber, they got after it. And
what was
basically Tiki is on, I believe, a New York
it's on the Giants side of it, right?
Yes, a New York radio station. And Tiki said, good luck to Saquon, but he's dead to me now. You're dead to me now. He said that on the radio. And then Saquon claps back and says, Tiki, you weren't checking for me anyway. You hated on me the whole time I was on the Giants, so you can miss me with that. Giants fans hopped in, Packers fans hopped in, talking about Tiki, how Tiki left the Giants right before Eli won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Because he didn't believe in him. So
Exactly.
pretty crazy for Tiki Barber to come sideways like that. But yeah, hopefully this stuff doesn't continue. And Josh Jacobs has always been a bit outspoken, and there was a lot going back and forth with the Raiders. I think once the new norm becomes created, which might be getting created right now, it just there won't be as many feelings involved.
Right.
Which
is the way it is.
And when we were growing up, I mean, you had Adrian Peterson,
That's right.
you know what I mean, and Marshawn Lynch, and it's not going to be the same as it was. They're not going to be as many running back jerseys bought. Maybe that's what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just curious from your perspective, which one, it doesn't have to be production wise, but which one gets you the most excited of all these new destinations?
I want Lamar to figure this thing out. I gotta go Derrick Henry.
I think that's a great answer, because that would probably lead to the most fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have Lamar and Derrick Henry just dominating in the backfield, and like I don't think they'll do it because they've been almost pushing against it since they drafted Lamar, but we can just get some optionality, like some option plays with Derrick. I just can't imagine that if you put Derrick Henry and Lamar in the same backfield, teams aren't just going to sell out every single time. Like that's insane.
This now puts a timeline, I would say, on the Lamar era, though.
Definitely.
Because now you have Zay Flowers, who is more of an electric guy. Obviously, you have Mark Andrews. So what are you missing now? I guess the deep threat, bigger receiver.
Yeah.
So go get that in the draft. You go get that in the draft. There's really no more excuses for Lamar. I'm sorry. Who would be your pick?
I don't want to say it, but Saquon with the Eagles is going to be, it's just going to be interesting to see how much they utilize him, because it's really going to speak to how much they trust Jalen Hurts. And if, with that offensive line, and of course they've taken some lumps here, but if they have a great offensive line and have Saquon and have all of those receiving targets, that could get really, really scary. It'll be interesting to see Austin Eckler, how much he still has. Like, I think the Commanders is a really weird destination for him. I think we talked about the Chargers and their calf casualties.
Yeah.
I would imagine that's what that is. Like
another outspoken guy too.
Really outspoken.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how he does and just how that team comes together. Those are probably the two that I'm most intrigued with. The Joe Mixon thing kind of came out of nowhere. He's always been like a good, not
I wouldn't
great
sleep on
running
that.
back, but
I
yeah,
wouldn't
I
sleep
think
on
he's
that.
got something in his tank for sure.
Well, and we'll see what ends up happening with T. Higgins, but you could really start having some questions about Joe Burrow and the Bengals, because the word on the street has been, hey, Joe's had a lot of talent around him for a long time. So let's see what he does. That is it for Stiles.
Real quick,
Yes.
sorry, I want to just throw this in here while we have the opportunity, while it's still relevant. Do you know Derrick Henry's high school numbers? His high school football stats?
No.
They are absurd. So just while it's relevant, I wanted to read this off before we get out of here. Freshman season, 26 touchdowns, 2,500 yards. Sophomore season, 38 touchdowns, 2,700 yards. Junior season, 34 touchdowns, 2,600 yards. Derrick Henry's senior season, 4,200 rush yards, 55 touchdowns, for a 4-year career of 1,200 yards and 153 touchdowns in 4 seasons, 8.7 yards per carry his high school career. As a freshman,
That's
this man
insane.
was putting up ridiculous numbers. So I always have to get that in when it makes sense.
Well, hopefully he's got some of that left for Lamar and the Ravens. You have Kings, Bucks. That is tonight, but the Drive guys are getting you ready right now. Until tomorrow, thank you to Brendan for hopping on, Brendan Nunez as well. Thank you to our guy, Nate Littlefield. Stiles and Watkins, until tomorrow, secure the bag like Kirk Cousins, like the bean.
The only place you'll find Harrison Barnes is